but there is a ton of MAGA on Rumble. So we are now live on Rumble. If you have Rumble, the app, the Handsome Liberal on Rumble, we're up live on there and you can come up as a caller. So we're going to give it a shot tonight. And I don't know what it looks like. I can only see the screen in landscape mode. It's not in vertical mode, but it is right side up. Fortunately, it appears that Rumble corrects this shit, so every damn thing ain't backwards. I like that. Anyway, let me go ahead and get straight to the comments. Don't bring straight talk on your live no more. What do you mean by straight talk, James Harper? Oh, you mean the viewer straight talk? Why not? Straight talk is MAGA. We enjoy talking to MAGA. Straight talk is a MAGA viewer. We always welcome MAGA on the program. So anyway, let me. Somebody says, "Oh, great, more wackadoodles." What is up with? Listen, MAGA has a different opinion. MAGA's entitled to speak, so we bring everybody up. Anyhow, let's go ahead and get into the program. What up, folks? Once again, it is indeed your boy Tim, the handsome liberal, depending on who you want to ask. Some people go, "Your ugly ass," it is. Whatever, but that is the name of the program, the Handsome Liberal. Good evening to all of you folks. As you guys may be aware, President Trump tonight will initiate the State of the Union, which will obviously cover predictions and accomplishments. So, I mean, likely we'll spend listen, Trump kind of gives you a State of the Union every damn time he talks. But traditionally, you're going to pat yourself on the back for what you've done. This is what all presidents do. This is not specific to Trump, but you're going to pat yourself on the back for what you've accomplished so far. And then you're going to make predictions for what 2028 or 2020, 2026 and the years going forward will be like. So he's going to pat himself on the back and tell you how great he's done. And of course, all of the good things that we're going to accomplish going forward. That is not unique to Trump. That is what all presidents do. So we'll see how that goes. But I want to talk to you folks and hear from you folks in regards to how do you feel so far about almost a year of President Trump? It's going to be a year next time you hear from him, because this is indeed right before the holiday. So 2026. Only a couple weeks away or so. So this is right before the holiday. I see the comment. Someone says, what did he say? He has accomplished nothing. Says, no, that's not true. President Trump has had accomplishments. That's absolutely not true. And I see Culture says, you should change your name to MAGA. Wow. I like to, you can feel free to elaborate in the comments why you're saying that. Anyhow, so we're going to talk about the State of the Union. What do you want to hear from Trump? What could President Trump say to make you feel more at ease with the next 3 years of Trump's administration? What could he say to help calm down? Now, a lot of you folks already favor Trump. You know who I'm talking to, my beloved MAGA. A lot of folks are already happy with President Trump. Some would even suggest he's the best president we've had in recent memory, if not the entire history of this country. Had a press conference last night where President Trump was on, and people were telling him he's the best president America's ever had. And he is the first Jewish president we've ever had. So go figure. So we'll talk about the State of the Union, what you expect. Jack Smith. Jack Smith is in the news. I want to ask you guys a simple question. Was Jack Smith a hit job? Because that is indeed the way President Trump portrays him. And not just Trump, but many on the right portrays Jack Smith as a mercenary for the Biden administration. Only purpose was to try to take Trump down, prevent Trump from becoming president. Trump, better yet, Jack Smith is having closed-door sessions with Republicans, and he's pleading his case. By the way, he could have pled the fifth. Jack Smith is talking, so I want to hear your opinion on that with him having private sessions. Also, in addition to the State of the Union, we'll cover Jack Smith a little bit. I want to talk to you folks about the healthcare stuff. Now, that's big news, because a hell of a lot of people are going to be affected if the Obamacare subsidies are allowed to expire. And it looks like there's a good chance that'll happen. Now, it sounds like the Democrats have somehow, some way convinced a handful of Republicans to take up a vote and try to get the subsidies extended for 3 years. It's interesting they picked 3 years. You already know why they picked 3 years to get that shit out of the way of President Trump. You got to fly above those surface-to-air missiles. So they picked just the right altitude to get it out of the Trump administration. So if the subsidies continue for the next 3 years, then that will be 3 years from now is after the 2028 presidential election. So Trump could still be theoretically in office, but it would only be a few months before the inauguration day of the next president. So 3 years is when they're trying to get these subsidies extended. And it looks like a handful of Republicans have sided with the Democrats. So this may happen, but I want to ask the simple question. President Trump came down the golden escalator in 2015. One of his signature promises was to repeal and replace Obamacare. That's something he's been talking about since the very beginning. We know that John McCain, the late Senator John McCain, gave him a thumbs down when he almost was able to accomplish it early in his first term. But he's been trying to repeal and replace Obamacare the entire time he's been a politician. So I'm going to ask a simple question. Now that it looks like he is as close as ever to repealing Obamacare, as close as he's ever been, it could literally be weeks away. Why the hell isn't there something to replace it with? I mean, he came down the golden escalator talking this in 2015. It's almost 2026, 11 years later. And he's been president a large portion of that time. He served a full term in the White House, and now he's been in office for another year just about. So he's been president for 5 years. Okay, he's coming this close to repealing Obamacare. Why isn't there anything to replace it with yet? Was there ever, I want to ask you folks, was the goal ever to replace it? Or I got some folks suggesting that the only goal, and you let me know if this sounds wacky or crazy, but some folks are suggesting the only goal President Trump had, and this sounds wacky, but I want to hear from you. The only goal he had was to repeal and replace the name. In other words, I don't give a damn what we put up there, just as long as we take Obama's name off of it. So the goal wasn't to replace it. The goal was to repeal Obama's name from it. I don't want Obama being able to say he created some kind of healthcare plan for this country. I want to take away maybe a perceived victory for Obama. So there's a lot of people who still favor Obamacare. I know the right, they don't like it, but the left loves it. And there are people on the right that like it, and there are plenty of independents that use it. But is the goal to repeal and replace it with something better, or just to simply tear it down because it's attached to the name Barack Obama? So talk to you guys about that. So, and last but not least, this is not big news. We're going to talk mainly about the State of the Union, but I do want you guys to give me your opinion on this. Once again, this lady is in the news again. None other than Marjorie Taylor Greene. And I know plenty of folks have their own opinion about her on the right and left. Here's what she said. This is a message she left for President Trump a few days ago, stating, "I was called a traitor by a man that I fought for 6 years for and gave him my loyalty for free." Let me tell you what a traitor is, says Marjorie. A traitor is an American that serves foreign countries and themselves. That's pretty damning that she would say that about Trump. But what say you? Do you believe that what Marjorie Taylor Greene is stating has any accuracy to it, suggesting that President Trump has not been in the Oval Office serving the people, but rather serving other countries and himself? So those are going to be our topics today. You guys know how the program is ran. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone. Damn it, we're not only always MAGA free, but as I stated earlier, today we are now live on Rumble. So if you have Rumble, the handsome liberal on Rumble, you can actually go to Rumble and we'll bring you up as a caller, just like we're doing on TikTok and Instagram. So now Rumble, and the whole purpose of Rumble, when we say MAGA free, is because there's a large percentage of MAGA on Rumble. So we got the Rumble up and working. And it appears to be right side up, which is not the same on YouTube, some of the other platforms. So we are now currently on Rumble as well. So if you have Rumble, you can watch the show live on Rumble and indeed be a caller there as well. So look at in the comments, howdy Uncle Ruckus. What's good news? How is the white man going to save us? Okay. All right. Okay. So I'm going to play the role of Uncle Ruckus, I suppose. And you're asking what's the good news? Good news is we're out here in the land of the living, 6 feet above ground instead of below, and able to have a conversation. How is a white man going to save us? First, you got to assume you need to be saved. So what do you need to be saved from? Anyway, let me go straight to the box. And by the way, thank you guys that are already tapping the screen. Get us on up to 10,000. The fact that you have to ask questions like this shows how fucked up America is, says Dave Thomas. Well, maybe you don't have to ask these kind of questions. Perhaps we're trying to provoke thought and conversation. Listen, I want to tell you, a lot of my liberals and MAGA alike are savvy voters, savvy individuals. So I don't know. I don't want to say it's that fucked up just yet. But let me go straight to the box and see if I can verify that it's not as fucked up as you say. Going straight to the box, we'll go to Sherbert. Good evening, Sherbert. Welcome to the program. State of the Union tonight. Are you excited?
Not even a little bit.
But you're getting to hear from your president. He's going to tell you what he's done and what he intends to do. How is that not exciting you as a constituent?
If he was a normal president where he didn't have a press conference literally every 20 minutes, I might be a little more excited to see what's going on with the country. But seeing as we can't get him to shut up, what's the difference?
But how do you respond to folks who say, at least he's not running the country from his basement like Biden and he's being transparent? How is that not a good thing?
I'll take Biden any day, even with the cancer, diagnosis. So no, I don't care. I'd rather have Biden in than listen to another word that Trump has to say, because all he's going to do is say, we're so amazing and Biden fucked everything up and we're going to be so great. Just watch. And he's not going to break any new ground. He's just going to threaten more people probably.
Well, but if he's getting things accomplished with his threats, like for instance, he wants Maduro out, he doesn't want fentanyl coming into our great country. If his threats are getting things done, is that not a good thing?
I don't think his threats are getting anything done. We're the laughing stock of the entire world right now.
You don't think any of Trump's threats have gotten anything done?
I think it's pushed our allies further away from us and made our enemies treat us as a joke.
His threats have not deterred folks from trying to get into this country illegally. Has his threats not been successful there?
I don't know. That's the only topic you have any kind of ground on. And I didn't think the border was a real problem before. So I don't really know what to tell you on that one, Tim.
Has his threats not forced NATO member nations to pay their proper amount in terms of defense?
I don't know what that means, seeing as there is no proper amount.
Yeah, it is 5%. Yeah, it is. They have to pay a certain amount of their GDP in terms of military defense.
They don't have to. They ask them to do that. And if they don't do that, there's no fines, there's no fees. You don't get kicked out of NATO for it. So no, it's probably better if the rest of the world pays a little more into that. But also it's not really a big deal and none of our damn concern. Because we pay more than the top 10 countries combined.
But wouldn't it be nice
if they do a couple $1 million more a year, will not affect a goddamn thing for us.
Well, how about if they take care of themselves, we won't have to do it with our tax money?
You think we're going to stop being the world police because they invest a little bit more?
Well,
we will never give up that power. Never. It doesn't matter.
Well, he has promised to operate on an American first platform.
And they're going after South America, calling it America now. I can't trust literally a single thing that they say, because it's all just warmongering and stupidity.
What about his threats strengthening our relationship with Israel? Is that not a good thing?
I am not a fan of being friends with Israel right now, with them committing war crimes literally all the time. So that's not a plus for me.
Okay. But you would admit his threats are having an effect. You just don't like the effect they're having.
Yeah, we're the laughing stock of the entire world right now. Why would I like the effects he's having?
Who's laughing at us? I mean, Netanyahu seems to love us. Like I mentioned, Israel. We seem to be...
Okay. I think it was Belarus
Belarus.
was literally laughing with somebody that they apparently had a war ended by Trump and said, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I didn't write you a letter when Trump stopped our war together, even though they never had a war." They're literally laughing at us because Trump won't shut up.
Well, Belarus
So no, they're laughing at us.
Belarus.
It may not be Belarus.
Yeah, Belarus is pretty much an extension of Russia. So I don't know what they would even be. I mean, they pretty much are just doing whatever Russia say. I don't know what place they would have in it.
I probably have the name wrong. It was definitely two of the countries that Trump will not shut up about him solving the war problem, even though they didn't have a war with each other.
Well, in the comments, I see Calvin says Belarus. He said, "Oh wow, Belarus is laughing. Who cares?" What about the notion that we don't give a damn who's laughing at us? We're on top of the world. We're the strongest nation on the planet, one of the wealthiest. We don't care who laughs. We're still at the top.
I didn't catch that, Tim. I was getting a phone call. What'd you say?
I said, what about the notion that we don't give a damn who laughs? We're still the wealthiest, most powerful superpower on the planet. We don't care who laughs.
Well, we're not going to get as many things done if we don't have allies.
Where are we losing allies? What do you mean by we're not exactly losing allies under President Trump?
Tim, we stopped getting national surveillance information from England.
Yeah, but it was in
Trump boat problems in Venezuela.
Yeah,
no, we're losing allies and losing information that makes us less safe and less of a superpower.
Well,
you guys.
But how about it? James in the comments rightfully points out Argentina is a new ally. So we gained an ally.
And what do we get from being an ally with Argentina?
An escape route.
Versus England?
We could
actually use their information in satellites and nuclear submarines.
We get a new escape route. If something goes wrong, you can now go to Argentina. Plus,
good. Hegseth can go there and go with all of his white supremacist friends.
What are you saying? You're trying to say Hegseth is a white supremacist?
100% by the tattoo on his chest, Tim.
We done a show on Hegseth's tattoos, and apparently they have ties to Christianity that have nothing to do.
You can tell yourself that if you want, but no, that's a white supremacist symbol.
Well, it can be construed that way, but we were able to show that it has ties to the Catholic faith, and there are Catholic deities wearing this that have nothing to do with white supremacy.
Tim, I also believe J.D. Vance killed the Pope. So I'm allowed to have my opinions about his tattoos and about J.D. Vance.
You know, J.D. Vance is a Christian, though, right?
I don't give a shit. He can be a Satanist for all that matters.
So, what are you expecting out of State of Union? Are you even going to watch it?
Not even a second. I'll watch the highlights. But he's not going to say anything new, Tim. It's all going to be rah, rah, look at me. I've built up this country from nothing because Biden left us in such a terrible economy. Even though all of the numbers from the day Biden left are better than the numbers are now. So fuck off, all of the MAGA supporters right now. Nothing's going to matter when that retard speaks.
I don't believe that's quite true, Sherbert. You say all the numbers are better when Biden left than they are now. The price of fuel is better under Trump. Price of eggs.
I don't believe that.
Price of eggs not better under Trump.
They're a little bit lower.
All right, then. So that's Trump's improvement over Biden.
But also, the eggs and the fuel are not nearly as important as our job numbers, our manufacturing numbers, our interest rates. Literally every single thing that actually matters is up. And you're going to tell me about eggs being down, so we're winning over this last year?
Well, we're not doing as bad as you're suggesting. And by the way, Handsome Conservative, yes, we did see your sub on Rumble. Thank you very much. I see the comments on there, so thank you, Handsome Conservative. We did see that. But listen, the fact is, the difference between the ending of the Biden administration and the numbers from the Trump administration portrays Trump as not doing that bad of a job. I mean, tell me where certainly when you don't like hearing about the border and things like that.
How many cargo ships are not coming in now? Which then directly relates to our infrastructure not being propped up very well because we don't have any goods to fix our own shit anymore. Like, no, Tim, the numbers are all terrible except for eggs, and fuel is down by what, 30 cents?
I'm hearing.
Oh my God, 30 cents.
But
We're saved.
Think about all of the billions we're making from the tariffs.
Fuck you.
What the
That's
hell?
paid by us. That's paid by us. No, that's not a good thing. The other countries aren't paying it. We're not winning when you charge an extra tax on the lowest income people. The billionaires don't give a shit because they've got the extra $1,200 a year to spend on tariffs. When people can't afford a $500 emergency and then $1,200 extra a year, plus now the health insurance rates are going up because they killed the ACA, maybe that'll get fixed, but still they killed something that will raise health insurance by double for a lot of people. We're not winning with tariffs. Shut the fuck up on that.
I'm being told that the
You've been
ACA.
told lies.
Listen, I'm being told that the ACA was a disaster to begin with. Obamacare was a crutch on the healthcare system, and it needs to be repealed to begin with. So if Obamacare goes away, I'm hearing things will be better off for the healthcare system. Yeah, there may be some temporary pain as they get things straightened, but it sounds like Obamacare was bad to begin with.
We've had 10 years for them to come up with an alternative, and they have yet to do it. So no, they don't have an answer. They just don't like the black guy did something.
So you think this is indeed all about just trying to take out Obama's legacy?
100%. The same way he's trying to get rid of Biden's legacy by getting rid of the CHIPS and Science Act, even though that's what was going to prop up our economy for the next 10 years.
If it's that bad, then Sherbert, because there are many Republicans, even MAGA, that are utilizing the subsidies coming towards Obamacare. Why does the Republican Party sound exactly the opposite of you if this is so good?
I'm confused by your question. You're saying...
I'm saying that the Republican Party believes that Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act, was trash, even though many of them are actually utilizing the subsidies to have their own healthcare premiums lowered. So what I'm saying is if it is as good as you're saying, or needed at least, as needed as you're saying, why does MAGA and the Republicans see it just the opposite?
Because dear leader said, hey, isn't this terrible? Isn't everything he ever did awful? Shouldn't you help me dispose of everything and make white America? When we're shutting down rural hospitals because they shut down parts of Medicaid, I don't see how that helps anyone.
Yeah, but the way you're making it sound like MAGA can't think for themselves. Like Trump, what did Trump say? Jump off a cliff? They're going to jump off a... Wait, come on now. So Trump
100%.
said... So
they went and stormed the Capitol because Rudy Giuliani said, we got to have blood sport.
Well, they believe that the Democrats...
They're goddamn lemmings.
The belief was that the Democrats were still in the damn election, is why they did that.
With bulletproof.
Huh?
And if they're too stupid to let Ray Epps provoke them, then they're not smart enough to actually run anything.
Okay. How about this? I seen the comment someone stated, Nicholas said that rural hospitals are not shutting down. What about the notion that the Democrats have predicted all kinds of, apocalypse type shit happening under Trump? And it's not been that way. The Democrats are always saying that Trump is going to ruin America. They said come Independence Day, people were not going to be able to afford their barbecue and all of that. It didn't happen. The Democrats keep painting Trump out to be this way, and the stuff never comes to fruition. How do you respond to that?
I would say about 90% of that stuff actually did happen. And it's just they're sane-washing every single thing, like getting rid of the Consumer Protection and Financial Bureau, where people are just allowed to get fucked over by the government and big banks now. And they're just going, yeah, but wasn't that terrible the whole time? No, Tim, all of these things have happened. And then you get MAGA Reacts on here to turn himself into a pretzel. And then just, well, we got to give him more time, but it's still awesome though, right? Go America. No, fuck you guys. I'm so done with this shit.
Well, what he is saying is there's going to be a little bit of short-term pain for some long-term gain, making America great. Listen, if you're going to make a whole country of 330 million people great, it's not going to happen overnight, sure, but it is going to take a little bit of short-term pain to turn all this around.
Tim, they only want it for 100 million people. At least Stephen Miller only wants it for 100 million people.
What do you mean by 100? Tell me who consists of this 100 million. What are you getting at?
There, let me see. Well, I didn't do that right. There we go. People that look like me, Tim.
And for those on other platforms,
ones that Stephen Miller wants to let in,
wants
to be safe and happy and whole.
And for those who on other platforms who cannot see him, he is a white male. So he's saying that people that look like. So what are you saying, that Trump is the administration for white people? Make white people great again?
100%. It's very clear, at least to me. And if they don't want to see it, then they're just going to keep going, rah, rah, go dear leader.
Then I have to ask you, because folks in the comments are going to want to know this. What has Trump done or even said that leads you to believe that he is only operating on the best interests of white people?
We remember when he said, we're going to let the farmers own some people?
I heard that, yeah. Maybe, listen, maybe we were taking him out of context. Maybe.
I think he got so much pushback that he couldn't sell slaves again.
Oh my God. So you think
he had to let up on that one?
You think Trump wants to really genuinely bring back slavery?
Tim, I just think he wants to be in the news as much as he can because he's a narcissist. It doesn't matter if it's good or bad. Attention is good for him.
Well, I don't listen. At the end of the day, considering how little Biden was on television, a transparent politician, a transparent leader, if they're telling the truth, is not actually a bad thing, is it not?
That would be a totally different story for a different politician when Trump lies just by blinking.
Come on, what are you saying? Everything.
You've heard that before.
What are you suggesting? That everything the man says is a lie?
I mean, most. And so when he's going to have the State of the Union tonight, it's all going to be lies or exaggerations of rah, rah, I made America great again. Look what Biden did. Biden screwed us over so much. I would really like to get the over-under on how often Biden's going to be brought up in this.
I was just about to say that when you said Biden, I was going to ask you, how many times do you think Biden's name is going to come up? Listen, the man believes that Biden was destroying this country. He said before many times that Biden was the worst president we've ever had. So he does believe Biden was quite destructive.
I don't know what Biden did to be the worst president ever. They keep bringing up the 9% inflation rate, but that was literally in the middle of COVID, as literally the rest of the world got hit with ginormous inflation rates.
Well,
if it was just us, I would understand, but it happened literally everywhere. And for somehow that's Biden's fault. Fuck off.
How about the notion that this man let in thousands, if not millions of people that have not been vetted? We don't know who the hell they are. And some of them are turning out to be rapists and murderers.
I would disagree by the numbers, seeing as undocumented people commit, I think, like a quarter of the crime of naturally born Americans.
How about one is too many? One is too many?
I think one felon as president is too many, but that obviously didn't matter to a third of this country. So, fuck up. I don't really care about immigration being a big problem because I've lived around these areas my entire life.
So you would have been okay if Biden or Kamala Harris served an additional 4 years and kept the immigration policies exactly how they were?
Yeah, I would have. And they're going to call me a commie or whatever, but I don't really give a shit. I've literally lived around Mexican immigrants my entire fucking life. They're just people. Fuck off that you want to make it white America and they don't speak English. Oh, fuck you.
All right.
Google Translate.
All right, sir, but I'll leave it at that. You're not playing today. I appreciate you coming on, man. Thank you.
Have a good night, Tim.
You too. By the way, folks, tap the screen. Get the likes on up to about 30,000. We can make that happen. Let your thumbs not be lazy. We're currently live on Instagram, TikTok, Rumble. We're also live on Rumble, and I'm missing one platform. Give me a minute. It'll come to my mind. But we're TikTok, Instagram, Rumble, and something else. YouTube. There we go. YouTube. What time is the State of the Union? The State of the Union is at 9 p.m. Eastern time. So if you're out in New York or whatever, 8 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Mountain, and 6 p.m., I believe that would be Pacific. So a few hours. What is that? It's currently here in the Midwest, 5:29. So We're still looking at a few hours, a couple hours or so. Bro, I seen 2 streams on YouTube of you just different. And yeah, there's a process in place to come here legally. True, Mrs. JJ. I think the issue is for many people on the left is Trump is altering that process. It's kind of like remember the shell game where you move the shells and you try to find out which shell the ball is under. Some places you can gamble and do this. I've gotten ripped off at that, but they put 3 shells down and you try to figure out. Well, there's somewhat of a shell game being played with the legal process, many would argue, such as TPS was a legal way, claiming asylum was a legal way. They've raised up the cost of getting the H-1B visa. These are all legal ways. So there is a legitimate complaint that on one hand, we're saying come the legal way. But then, as I said, the shell game, when you try to come the legal way, they put a hurdle or they change how you can do that. Fact is, the Trump administration is indeed making it harder to come here legally. So don't run across the Rio Grande or sneak in the country, come the legal way. But when you come here legally, understand that process may be harder or not available anymore either. So that's where the shell game is. Anyway, looking in the comments, I see Tom says that's the point. Yikes. I'm just here to laugh at y'all and give real facts. Appreciate the facts there. If we can bring about a chuckle, so be it. Tap the screen, get us up to 30,000. If you knew anything about that song from the Village People, you wouldn't be so fast to sing that song. You do know all the Village People were gay, says Diana. Well, in defense of Trump and my beloved MAGA, Trump often suggests they have no problem with the LGBTQ community. Just don't shove it down their children's throats. So it's not like the Trump administration has ever claimed to have any problem with gay people. So they don't mind that. Looking in the comments, though, what about the universities? What about the universities? Are you talking about the massacre? Well, it wasn't Brown. What happened at Brown? I guess 2 people. I mean, unfortunately in America, you got to kill a bunch of people before it gets attention anymore. People are kind of used to dying by themselves. Real quick in the comments, what about the innocent fishing boats that is blown out of the water? Lorraine, we spoke on this. I'll tell you something. We haven't spoken, but we spoke on it on the show. Something on further analysis, even though I personally am not a fan of instantly executing someone without any type of due process, I'm no longer certain that the boats being blown up are not carrying narcotics. Based on what I'm hearing, they actually are carrying narcotics. They actually are carrying narcotics. But carrying narcotics alone doesn't mean they're coming to the United States or even capable of coming to the United States. Doesn't mean they're carrying fentanyl. I mean, there's a bunch of other aspects to it. I personally would rather they just take the person into custody, show us what the hell they got, and then punish them accordingly. But that's not what they're doing. They're killing them on the spot. It is still not our jurisdiction. It is international waters. Yes, that is true. Looking at the comment, I'm not a fan of people being murdered. Man, grow some balls. You're telling me I think this is Davy Jones. Appreciate the input. I said I'm not a fan of people being murdered. And his response was, man, grow some balls. So what are you telling me? If my testes were bigger, I would be more supportive of murder? Is that how that works? Serial killers have really big testicles? Let me know. Let me go back to the box. Hey, there is help on YouTube, MAGA. Okay, we'll go back to the box and bring up Mike. Good evening, Mike the Boss. Welcome to the program. Not much else. State of the Union tonight. You going to watch?
I probably will. Depends on how busy I am.
Are you excited? The president's going to speak to the people.
No, if he doesn't declare war on Venezuela tonight, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Did you see that? Did you see that Tucker Carlson came out and said someone from Congress told him today that we're going to war? Did you hear that?
That's sloppy as fuck. I heard a little bit about it. That is really sloppy. I mean, first of all, it's sloppy to tell that to Tucker, and then it's even worse that Tucker knows. Tucker is deep enough in it that he knows you're not supposed to tell people that. But he's operating on ratings and clicks, so I can't hate on him for doing what it takes to make his program bigger. But whoever that congressperson is should get in trouble.
Somebody, a bonbon said, why would Trump tell the American people? He tells everything.
Yeah.
Trump tells everything. First of all, answer me this. How did Venezuela steal our oil? How did Venezuela steal our land? That's what Donald Trump said. You didn't see that, right?
No, I haven't seen that.
You didn't see that?
No. He said Venezuela stole our land from where?
Trump says Venezuela. That's exactly what I'm saying. He said that Venezuela illegally took U.S. oil and we want it back, and they took land. He said this yesterday. You didn't hear that?
No. Listen, the man's getting old. Maybe that's what it is. He makes a few mistakes here and there.
He makes a few mistakes, right? Listen,
how can they take our land?
This is what he said. This is a direct quote.
Yeah.
Quote, they took all of our energy rights. They took all of our oil from not that long ago, and we want it back. But they took it. They illegally took it. Close quote. That's what he said. How are they taking oil? But you know what, Tim? So all the people that are always pushing back on me, all he's doing is doing what colonizers have always done. They declare that somebody did something to them that justifies what they want to do to them.
Mm.
They've been doing this for hundreds of years. What was the difference? What was the difference?
I can't argue with that. It does appear as if we would like to start some kind of incursion with Venezuela, and we're just simply making excuses to do it. I do agree with that.
Absolutely.
I do agree with that.
That's all it is. And I want everyone else to think, if you go hunting for big game, do you hunt big game and never show pictures of what you caught? Is that a thing? When people go hunting big game, you go hunting for lions and you go hunting for water buffalo.
My guess is yes, they do, and I'll tell you why. Because there's a lot of PETA people out there. You go out and you slaughter a rhinoceros or something like that, and somebody throws paint on you or something. So my guess is there are some wealthy people that go to go to Africa, hunt big game, and they don't post it everywhere because it's not popular with everybody.
But those people wouldn't tell you that they're going big game hunting either. I'm talking about Trump doing what he's doing, saying that you're trying to stop these narcotics, and then they finally come out and tell us the truth. It's about the oil, it's about the land. Not my words, his words.
Yeah, I mean,
all what we said it was from the very beginning.
I don't see how anybody could buy that. America lost property in oil to Venezuela. I'm going to chalk that up as a slip up. I'm going to chalk that up as a slip up.
We're not chalking it up as a slip up. That's what he said. What he slipped and told the truth. He slipped and told the reason why we're doing this. He slipped and told everybody that all of that going after drugs and all that was bullshit. Like we said from the very beginning, it was never about that. It was never about that. This was the diversion that they needed while they got all these things in place to say that they're going to go and invade this country because they want the oil and they want the land. That's what they want. And that's what they're doing. And that's what he said.
How about this? While you're pointing out things you don't favor from Trump, Sean Fleming in the comments says, let's talk about the $2,000 dividend checks. Has Trump promised to give out money? Because if he promises that tonight, that's going to go over well for him.
Go ahead.
Did you hear me?
You think it's going to go over well?
If he hands out $2,000, listen, people will forgive any damn thing if you give them money. I used to say that earlier I used to say that months ago toward the end of the Biden administration. You can bring back slavery if you give people enough money. People care about the economy. They will forget everything else if you make their economic standpoint good. They will forgive it. If he gives out $2,000 in stimulus checks, you'll be amazed at how many people will be like, I don't give a shit about that. He gave us money.
Those same people already are MAGAs deep into the cult, so they're not going to care anyway. But at the same time, is he going to finish the statement and say, by giving you $2,000 check, I'm going to increase the deficit by how many trillions of dollars? Has he said that?
No, but people don't. A lot of folks don't. Yeah, but a lot of folks don't. Low-educated voters in particular, they don't care about that, Mike. I mean, if you put $2,000 in their pocket, the deficit might as well be some number out orbiting around Pluto. That's how for most Americans, the deficit is mean. It's just like stock when they brag about how great the stock market is. Somebody that's working at Dollar General, that's irrelevant information. It means nothing to them.
And those same people, none of the information means nothing to them. So they're not even really in the equation of whether or not you're going to get to midterms and make a difference. Those aren't the people.
But $2,000 would mean something to them. That's something tangible they can see.
Well, it's tangible for those that already support him. It's not going to swing anybody. Listen, if anybody voted and then they're watching what happened and they're off of that fence, the $2,000 isn't going to put him back on.
Yeah.
It's not going to put him back on.
But that ain't how you do it. That ain't how you. What you do is you give them $2,000, and then you don't have to be telling the truth, but you make it sound like there's more. You don't just give them $2,000. You say, look, from now on, things have been going so well under my presidency. As I stated, best economy we've ever had. There's enough here, 2,000 every year going forward. I got 3 more years. Every year you're going to get an additional 2,000 because the economy is so great. That's how much money we're bringing in from the tariffs. Once they receive that first $2,000, it's going to be hard to convince them that he's lying about the other ones.
So they say. And again, Tim, hey, listen, if that's the route that people want to go and believe, because here's the thing that I'm not doing, and I told myself this a couple of days ago. I mean, we're not talking about his supporters. We're not talking about people that are completely against him. We're talking about the ones that voted and are regretting their vote, and they're looking at midterms, and they're starting to really look at what he's doing. The reality is this: $2,000 isn't going to help change anyone's lives. If you're smart, you know why he's doing it. But hey, a lot of people just aren't fucking smart. It's not going to change.
You really believe $2,000 wouldn't help anybody? I mean, you might be late on your rent or something. You don't think that $2,000 would help anybody out?
It's not going to. I said change their lives.
Well, shit. No, the presidency normally doesn't change your life permanently, but I mean that could help somebody out that's in the bind.
What I'm saying is, well, it'll help them pay the increased price of their healthcare premium. It'll help offset what they're about to get hit with, and maybe he's going to say that. But even Tim, if he wrote everybody a check, it still goes to the deficit. I thought he was going to shrink the deficit.
Yeah,
I thought they were going to shrink.
I think they all kind of lie to us about being fiscally responsible. Both sides get in there. They talk about shrinking the deficit and all of this stuff, but when they get in there, because Trump is talking about building an iron dome and all this stuff, that stuff's going to cost a fortune. Christ.
Listen, Tim, it's proven in history. Republicans never grow the economy. They never do. That's not my opinion. You know that. The Republicans historically never grow the economy. They always grow the deficit. They never grow jobs. Tim, you know that.
If they're so bad, then why do they keep winning? Why do people keep voting in the Republicans? If they're bad, they should never win an election going forward.
Yeah, but it's not just about the economy. So a lot of people just are into whatever they're into, Tim. Just like this time we're in is unprecedented. This time we're in will shape this country for the next 30, 40 years. Easy. Bottom line.
But will it shake the country in the right direction? Will we look back and say that 2025, 2026, 2027, 2028 were indeed the wonder years? What does Trump call it? Trump has a term for it. I keep forgetting what he calls it, but a really good time in America.
No, it won't. We're going to look back on this time, and it's going to take years. It's going to take years to undo the big, beautiful bill. It's going to take years to undo the damage from these executive orders. It's going to take years to sort through all of these lawsuits that are being filed against the government. It's going to take decades to fix this shit. Decades. And most people they're not paying attention or they don't care. And if you still support Trump and his administration, then you just don't give a fuck. You just don't. You just don't. Because, again, Tim, I'm going to ask you this question. And I know you've got 4 different. Everybody, if they're being honest, we've never had a president run for president with his resume, walking into it. Not what he did once he got in. Like the Monica Lewinsky shit once Bill Clinton was in office. I'm talking about walking in, running, campaigning with felonies and essays and all this shit. They would never accept it for any other president. They accepted it because he has moved forward this far right wing white Christian nationalist agenda.
But what is if what you're saying is true, and it absolutely is, he did have felonies, but if he's that bad, how did he win and beat every swing state? And by the way, in the comments, Terrence even says, I'm so glad that woman lost, referring to the one and only Kamala Harris. But if he's that bad as you're suggesting, how did he win so handily?
He's white and he's racist. And he's, listen, let me finish. He's white, he's racist, and he fear-mongered on what he knew, the subset of black. Listen, Steve Bannon said it. They targeted black men. They targeted Hispanic men with the misogyny, with the homophobic shit. And when you talk to them, what do they say, Tim? When you talk to black and brown MAGA supporters, what do they always say? They talk about women, men in women's bathrooms, and they talk about the LGBTQ community, and then you get a subset that talk about a women can't lead anything. Yes or no?
They're not a big fan of. They're not a big fan of the LGBT community, but the border, which is something I bring up often, the border is also something the Biden administration screwed up, and it helped Trump get in there. And Trump has indeed, according to a lot of Americans, done a significantly better job at managing our border than President Biden. And appreciate that, Mr. Walter. Thank you.
I understand what they're saying, but they don't go back and read. See, they dismiss Greg Abbott from
Mike. You don't need to read. You can see that. You can see that immigrants are not lying all over the streets, getting free hotels and stuff.
That's bullshit, Tim. That is bullshit. And if you go back and read what Greg Abbott and what Ron DeSantis did, they created the problem. They said they were going to create the problem. They created the problem, and then simultaneously blamed Biden for the problem they created, Tim. They shipped those people to those cities. Biden didn't do that. They blamed him for it. He didn't do that.
But the people had to
ship people to Chicago.
But the people had to be here for them to be able to do that, though, Mike.
Tim, they're always here. This is the crazy part. This is the fucking crazy part. They're always here. They're always. Do we have an influx after COVID? Of course, that would have happened under any circumstance. But that wasn't their goal, Tim. That's what I keep trying to tell you. And it gets so frustrating for me to listen to people demonize a group of people and let the very people that did it off the hook for doing it. Greg Abbott and Ron DeSantis spent money busing those people. They sent them there for the reason to create the problems in those blue cities. They did it on purpose. Those are my words, and their fucking words.
Yeah, but why not why not do what everybody wanted Trump to do? If you want to declare asylum or you want to come to the country, you have to put in the application in your own country, remain in Mexico, whatever the case may be. And it's been able to stop a lot of this. I mean, under Trump, you haven't had all of these immigrants coming in the country, and a large portion of America is happy that way.
Tim, okay, let me say it this way.
Just be busy, I think it is.
So let me ask you this, and this is the hypocrisy. Was there a border crisis in 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020?
No, because Trump had it under control.
Trump didn't do anything fucking different.
Trump didn't do anything fucking different, as you might suggest. But they knew under Trump, you can't just come in here and expect to get in.
Bullshit, Tim. I don't know why y'all keep saying that. That wasn't a thing. That never happened. You can only enter by the laws that permit you from coming in. What he did do was make it more complicated. He's the one that reassigned judges. He's the one that changed their caseload to quotas that were unimaginable. He did that on his way out of his administration.
Yeah, but he's also the one that got the border under control. Real quick in the comments,
it's not under.
It is certainly significantly. It's much more under control than it was under Biden. Hi, hello in the comments says Trump never demonizes anyone. God chose him for a reason. So in other words, he was chosen by God.
God didn't choose him. The devil's put Trump in place. Let's get back to this, Tim. I don't want to move away from
it. Wait a minute.
I don't want to move away from it.
You said God didn't choose him. The devil put him in place. Damn.
Yeah. The devil. So he's working with the devil. Listen, Tim. I want you to go back.
Okay, what you got?
No.
Oh my God.
if you're tracking border crossings and you say border crossings are down, doesn't that naturally, and your numbers are low, because the numbers represent who's been in, who you've contacted, yes? The numbers, when you look at the numbers, hold on, when you look at the numbers, and they're saying this many people crossed, this many people were encountered, right?
Okay.
If the number is low, that means on paper, what they're recording, they're saying no one's trying to enter at all.
Right. That's because of Trump.
My argument is this. No, you're just not encountering them any fucking more. You think that people aren't still coming in this country, Tim?
No, I don't. No, I don't. No, I do not. In fact, I think they said about 1 million people self-deported under Trump. Not only are they not coming, they're fucking leaving because Trump is securing the border. You're not giving the man credit that he deserves, Mike.
No, because Tim, because that is a fallacy. And listen, everybody can buy that bullshit if they want to. Yeah, I don't buy it. I don't buy it because
you really wait. Let me make sure I get this clear. You really believe that just as many immigrants are coming in this country under Trump as they were under Biden?
No, I didn't say just as many, but the numbers he's putting out there, this 4% and 3%, that's bullshit.
I don't think it's close, Mike. I think under Trump.
Okay, I know you don't because you guys believe this Jello pudding eating motherfucker. I don't.
How are they getting here, Mike? How are they getting in? If they're still coming, how are they getting in?
Tim? How were the gotaways getting in, Tim?
Overstaying their visa and things like that.
No, I said gotaways. See, this is the.
Oh, you mean the ones that are running across the desert and shit?
Well, they're gotaways. So this is my whole.
You really believe with the wall and all of the money spent to put troops and shit on the border, people are still successfully able to run into the country?
100% Tim. Listen to me, Tim. Now you're making that face, but here's the funny part. We've never been able to capture and count gotaways because they're fucking gotaways. So how can you say you're stopping gotaways if you can't catch them at all? Because if you could, they would be encounters.
Yeah, but you're going to have, listen, Trump upped the immigration or border patrol border customs budget from $8 billion to $28 billion. I believe there's so many people and so much technology on the border. There's not a lot of gotaways, Mike. There's just not. There's no way. You're making it sound like Trump has only had minimal success in limiting folks from coming here.
I'm literally telling you what you asked me. I answered you. Now you guys can believe it all you want. It really doesn't matter to me. You guys can believe whatever you want. I don't believe, listen, I use the critical thinking and I'm looking at what's happening. I don't listen to them. I listen to him just to verify him being an idiot. I don't listen to the rest of this shit. At the end of the day, we have a leader that is a murderer, that is an adjudicated rapist, that is a liar, that is a 34 count felon, that is capitulating and putting his ass in a circle and tossing it up in a circle for the entire world to get a piece of, and he's selling us out, and everybody is just waiting for the remnants of his bullshit to fall into their mouth without even looking. That's what his supporters are doing.
That's a mouthful. But how are you? What you say? He's selling us out? Selling us out to who?
Any country that has a price sticker, Tim. He doesn't give a fuck.
Examples?
No. Okay, let me ask you this: the ex-president from Honduras. This man sat there and said he was convicted unjustly with zero evidence, and let a man that moved 400 metric tons of booger sugar into this country and said, I want to shove as much of this up the nose of those gringos as we possibly can. That guy he let out of prison. Why do you think he let him out of prison? He didn't need to. Matter of fact, and I'm going to say this to those people that push back on what I'm saying. He let that man out of prison based on their own theory. Shouldn't he have been? First of all, I never should have let him out. But if you're going to let him out, shouldn't he have been deported?
Yeah, I don't have any. I don't have any.
No, Tim, let me finish. You start. Shouldn't he have been deported directly back to his country?
That's the normal procedure is once you're incarcerated in America, if you're not a legal immigrant, whenever your incarceration is over, they deport you back to your country of origin, and they didn't do that. Yes.
Okay. Right. The very person, but they want to deport Humar Braga Garcia and the other 224 people that they deported, while simultaneously didn't Lincoln Riley's a killer get convicted and sentenced here. They didn't deport him.
Not well, because he's gonna spend the rest of his life in jail, though. But if he ever gets out, huh?
Well, wait a minute. I understand the law here. I'm simply saying if they want all the criminals out, regardless, they didn't deport. He didn't deport the man he just pardoned. We don't even know where he is, Tim.
No, we don't.
His whereabouts are unknown.
Yeah, there's a warrant for him. Yeah. There's an Interpol warrant for him.
Not here though.
There's an Interpol warrant for him. He's wanted internationally. Correct. He's wanted in Honduras, where he's from.
Hello. So he's wanted where he's from. But what we should have done, and if he's going to pardon him, he should have deported him right back there, right? Yeah. Based on their logic. That's their logic, not mine.
That's the law normally.
Yeah, it is the law, right? And it's funny, even in the comments, guess or whatever. These are the ones that are so far gone, they don't know what to do with themselves. We boom all these blows. We unalive all these people with no evidence. He has no evidence this man wasn't who he was, although him, his brother, and his nephew were convicted of the same crimes. His brother got a life sentence. Trump hasn't mentioned his brother once. You know why? Because his brother wasn't president. Trump is trying to get this man back in power over there. You watch what I tell you.
I got to move it on, but I hope you're wrong about that. I got to move it on to Mike, but that would be crazy if they actually pardon the guy from a 45-year sentence and then reinstall him as the president of Honduras. That would really make us look corrupt.
Would you put it past him? Would you put it past him at this
point? I got to move it on. I appreciate you coming through.
All right.
Appreciate it. Later. Thank you, Mike. And by the way, listen, I'm willing to defend Trump where I believe he can be defended, but there is no defense for him pardoning that drug kingpin that he was talking about at the end of our conversation. The guy is responsible, according to our prosecutors, 400 metric tons of cocaine into America. Got a 45-year sentence, and Trump, he got sentenced to 45 years in federal prison last June 2024, and Trump just pardoned him about a month ago. So Trump shaved like 43 plus years off of that sentence. Trump claims he didn't get treated right or didn't get a fair trial or something like that. Why would you be invested in that? I don't have any defense for that. And then, of course, as we were continuing on, my last caller rightfully pointed out that we not only did we pardon him, but we then did not even deport him back to where he came from. So listen, if you're an immigrant in this country without no legal right to be here, even if you came to visit, let's say you're on a visitor's visa that expires in 30 days, and while you're here, you commit a major felony, you get 10 years in prison or whatever. When you get out of prison, you're going to be deported back to where you came from and likely banned from coming to America ever. This guy was not deported to where he came from, because where he came from, they also have a warrant for his arrest for, I believe, for trying to steal an election. I don't know what it is about Trump and these people that steal elections, but the country where he used to be president, the Honduras, and I'm not just joking about Trump and these people trying to steal elections, because there's also someone down in Brazil that President Trump was threatening the nation of Brazil with tariffs if they didn't let that guy out. He also was a former head of state in Brazil, and he tried to steal an election. They caught up with him and prosecuted him in Brazil, and Trump has been threatening to punish Brazil if they don't let that guy out. So I don't know what Trump has in common with people trying to steal elections or why he liked those people, but that is something that he seems to be getting involved in. People who are known for staging coups. But anyway, I don't understand why Trump pardoned the guy. I don't think it's hard to explain that. Trump doesn't care about money. Geez, why would you think that? He's a great Christian man who loves more than himself. It's the golden age. Let's all celebrate the greatness. Well, golden age sounds nice, but I got to vehemently disagree with you in regards to President Trump not caring about money. I mean, that I would, other than claiming that he didn't take a salary, I don't know what that's based on. The guy's been making a ton of money since he's been in politics. I haven't seen anything to suggest he doesn't like money. Let me go back to the box, tap the screen, get the likes on up to 60,000. We can make that happen, absolutely. By the way, help your boy out with the TikTok crown goal. We can certainly do that. We'll go back to the box. Don't know what I'm looking at here, but we'll go to, I think it says James. Only a fool would say he cares about us. Well, I disagree with that. Trump does care about Trump does care about us. It just depends on who us is. Every president has people in this country that care about and people in the country that think they don't care about them at all. Like the LGBTQ community might think that Biden cared about them, whereas they probably think Trump doesn't. So there are people in the country that feel confident Trump does care about them. And there are people that feel confident that he doesn't. James, good evening.
What's going on, Tim?
Not much at all. State of the Union this evening. And I see somebody in the comments said he doesn't care about Democrats. That is true. State of the Union address tonight. What are you expecting? You expecting some good times? You're going to tune in?
I'm expecting him to go off the rails. Whatever that teleprompter is supposed to say, he's not going to say it. He's going to ramble for a good minute like he's been doing lately.
Is that not a good thing to have a president that doesn't need to follow a teleprompter all the time? He's capable of forming his own thought.
Tim, you seen the thoughts that he's been rambling about snakes and other bullshit like that? Come on now.
Well, listen, he is an older guy, so sometimes that comes out. But many folks like that when he's speaking, his mind is not working on auto pen. He's telling you how he feels.
So you just admitted that his mind is off, which means that he should not be president.
I don't know if his mind is off that much. I mean, we had 4 years of Biden. Did you think Biden's mind was sharp as a tack?
Okay, wait, hold on. You just said we have 4 years of Biden,
yes.
Which means that we should be able to pick that up even better now and be like, no, we're not gonna go through this again.
Well, but the problem is, James, the Democrats completely lied about Biden's cognitive abilities, and now they want to hammer Trump. You realize how hypocritical that looks?
Wait, hold on. You want to know why they hammering Trump now? Because Trump was the leader of pointing that out, talking about look at Sleepy Joe, Yeah. What's he doing now? He can't even go one meeting without falling asleep right there in front of the camera.
I mean, Trump has indeed dozed off a time or two, but many would suggest it's because that guy keeps a schedule like nobody's business, where Biden, you could barely find him on TV once a week. Trump flies to many countries. He's on television all times of night.
Tim, they already compared like what he's doing now to what he's doing his first term. And they already said his schedule has reduced 39% from the first term. So he's not doing more now. He's doing less.
Okay, but even if his schedule is reduced, as you say, compared to his first term, it's still significantly greater than what Biden was doing, right?
No, it was not.
Biden wasn't on TV
stop being a fluffer and sheep, Tim.
No, I'm serious. How often did you see Biden on TV? You see Trump on TV holding press conferences damn near daily. You were lucky to get 1 or 2 out of Biden per month.
He likes seeing himself on TV. How many of those press conferences that he's been on actually had some substance? Most of those have been most of those times you've seen him on TV. It's all about him doing self-gratification.
Well, if he thinks he's doing a good job, is it wrong to pat yourself on the back?
As much as he's doing it, come on now, Tim.
I mean, the guy thinks he's doing a good job. I mean, what can you say? Andy says you have TDS in the comments. I see that. Biden was on TV once every month, if you're lucky, says MAGA Reacts. So in other words, you're getting Trump, you're getting transparency. He's letting you know what he's going to do. People like that.
Tim, you can't tell me you have not watched one of those cabinet meetings, watching them sit there. They have to praise him for at least a couple minutes before they can even say anything about what's going on in their job.
Now, that's a real fluffer. For you guys who don't know what fluffing is, you're right. They do kind of juggle the balls a little bit. I get it. But at the end of the day, maybe they actually feel he's doing such a great job that they would like to juggle his balls a little bit.
No, you know damn well it's a requirement that they got to sit there and fluff him.
And I see, speaking of fluff, in the comments, I don't see what the name is. He said, Mr. Somebody says, Tim renamed your channel to Fluff Daddy. What are you trying to say there? Fluff Daddy, what the fuck? Anyway, but no, I mean, listen.
Tim, hold on.
Sure.
You said earlier that Trump said we have to go through a little bit of pain to get progress, right? If that's the case,
little bit of pain for long-term gain, Gilded Age.
Okay, how come the people that's feeling the pain are middle and lower class, but not the upper class? They're getting benefits right now.
Oh, you know, they always say I never got a job from a poor man, so you got to give it to them, and then it'll trickle down into jobs and things like that, and opportunities for the poor man.
And history has proven that trickle down economics does not work. It didn't work with Reagan. It didn't work with Bush 1. It didn't work with Bush 2.
Well, history hasn't been kind to trickle down economics, but maybe Trump has something different in store.
He didn't have nothing in store his first term. What's he going to have in store this time? Besides besides all the stuff that he's been doing, where he's been making himself rich, while the value of our dollar's been falling, unemployment's been rising, inflation's been rising, and things like that.
Well, you say nothing in store. The first time the economy was pretty damn good. In the comments, Huey says those are happy ending massages at the end of cabinet meetings. Those are happy ending. So what do you say? Trump gets a happy ending massage? No, listen. Under Trump's first term, which is why a lot of folks strongly wanted to give him a second term, is people really enjoyed how the country was being managed under Trump's first term. They felt secure. They felt financially okay. I mean, they enjoyed what he did for us the first term.
You could have sat there and not done any of the policies, and we still would have had a better outcome than at the end of his first term. That was a goddamn lie. So the only reason why they saying that because they got a stimulus check at the end of his term. That's what they thought was a good thing.
So how are you seeing your finances under Biden? Your personal fight, were you doing better under Biden's watch than Trump's first term?
Yes.
A lot of Americans disagree, man. A lot of Americans point to rising gas prices, rising groceries, the price of eggs, all that stuff that went up. And not only were things going on.
The whole thing about the eggs, that's supply and demand. Remember, when we had that bird flu that was killing chickens and things like that, that's when the demand was higher than the supply. Within a year, that reversed. Remember, they had to kill off a lot of those dead birds, and then once let it sit for like a while, and then it comes back up. Same thing with deer. Same thing with crabs. They sit there and restrict the supply for a certain amount of time to let nature build itself back up before they go back into it.
Yeah, but James, at the end of the day, if it's happening under your watch, you're going to get credit or criticism for it. People are not going to go dig into those actual meaningful reasons you're pointing out. If it's like just like gas, right now the price of fuel is getting to be pretty low under Trump's watch. And the left is like, well, it's not really Trump, it's the winter blend, or it's this reason. If it's happening under your watch, you're going to get credit for it. Just like if gas was $5 a gallon right now, the liberals would be blaming Trump. They wouldn't be coming up with all these other excuses for why it's not the president's fault. But because gas prices are favorable, they don't want to give Trump credit. Do you not see that?
The difference between now and then is not even 30 cents?
It's 30 cents in your pocket, though, James. 30 cents that truck drivers use where they may fill up all the time. I mean, that 30 cents adds up. That 30 cents can translate to cheaper goods and services because they have to be shipped via truck and rail and things like that use fuel. That's 30 cents. That's good.
But that's the thing that they weren't talking about. Because remember, when under Biden, he was producing more than Trump did in his first term.
What do you mean producing?
Like we were drilling and producing more oil in the first term, in Biden's term than we did in Trump's first term. But they were swearing up and down Trump wasn't doing what he's supposed to. Biden wasn't doing what he's supposed to do.
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. A lot of people don't care how much oil we're producing. If they're paying less at the pump, that's what they feel is tangible results. It's kind of like the stock market. You can tell us how great the stock market is doing until you're blue in the face. People want to know what's in their bank account. So telling us that they're drilling more into Biden than Trump, people are going to focus more on, but I'm paying less for fuel under Trump than Biden. So Biden is not going to get the same credit as Trump.
You're right, Tim. They're going to credit the president, even though he's not the one that actually was controlling it. But yes, they did produce more.
I mean, like I said, but that's irrelevant to the average American. I mean, we're producing more oil. I mean, you could be producing more oil while the price of gas is going up. If you're producing more oil and the price of gas is going down, we're going to give you credit on what we're paying at the pump. All that other stuff is irrelevant to us unless you have invested in, oil stocks or something like that. But if you're just a regular American going to work every day, your concern is how much am I paying at the pump? I don't care about OPEC, all that other shit. Bring down the price at the pump. Under Trump, that's what you're getting.
And then you have to remember, we was under lockdown under Trump in his the later part of his years.
What do you mean lockdown?
And
you mean COVID?
Yeah, and with us being under lockdown, the demand was lower, so the price was lower.
Yeah, but what about right now? We're not under lockdown right now, and under Trump, the price of fuel is declining every damn day. It's getting cheaper and cheaper.
The price of fuel has been fluctuating under Trump. It's been going up and down this entire time, Tim.
The last 4 or 5 months, I haven't seen a lot of fluctuation. It's been going down a few pennies here or there per week. You've seen fluctuation?
Yes, I've seen it go down and I've seen it go back up.
Back up? What is the high you've seen?
Where I'm from, gas was over $3 when Biden left, and I've seen it go up to like $3.25, $3.15, and then I've seen it go down to like $3.98.
When the last time you seen it at $3.25? If that's the high point, when is the last time you saw that?
It was around the summertime.
All right. So, like I said, the last few months it's been going down. Summertime has been 5-6 months ago, or at least 4 or 5 months ago. I mean, so gas prices have been going down.
Like I said, it's been fluctuating. But it's not that much of a difference between this year and last year.
You mentioned 30 cents. That's not much of a difference, but that is a tangible difference to some folks, depending on what industry you're in, depending on how much you drive. Well, let me ask it to you this way. Has Trump done anything good for America in your eyes?
No, what he's been doing is lining his own pockets. And then for all those people that talk about, he donated the presidential salary. If he didn't donate it, he'd fall into the emoluments clause, which is an impeachable offense.
Well, first of all, when you say he's been lining his own pockets, you would agree that every politician, when they're in there, they're lining their own pockets at least a little bit.
To this degree, Tim, like we was
a little bit more into Trump. I get it, a little bit more into Trump, but I mean, every president. I mean, Obama's.
Come on, hang on. It's getting to the point. It's blatant, Tim.
Okay, I get it.
People will say, like, it's worse than Halliburton and with Cheney.
Well, listen. At the end of the day, if people's pockets are being lined, they'll turn a blind eye to him making a little bit of money because a lot of it is coming from other countries anyway. It's not hurting Americans, right?
Tim, he just pardoned a dealer, and he pardoned a crypto bro that was laundering money.
Well, listen, the guy tends to pardon a lot of people. So
you're saying it's okay to have partners on sale? And then remember, he's also trying to make it so that people can buy citizenships. Remember the gold card?
Well, I don't favor pardoning. I don't favor selling pardons, but in terms of buying citizenship, and Jay Stepp says, dude, you're exhausted to listen to, almost shameful. I don't know if you're talking about me or you, probably me, but I'll say this in regards to buying citizenship. On its face, I can understand the criticism and how it looks, but many would suggest maybe it's about time we had some people with money come into the country than so many folks that have their hand out. If you got to pay $1 million to get into this country, that means you're going to have money when you come here. You're not going to need us to take care of you.
But Tim, those people still can get through the immigration process. But now you're saying like, we're going to do it like a fast pass. So if you give us this amount of money, you can just bypass the line and go right to the front.
Is there anywhere in life where if you show up with a bunch of money, you have to stand in line with the regular people? You can get on the plane even in the middle of terrorism. If you pay money, they'll put you up quicker than everybody. I mean, that's just kind of how it works. Got money, get privileges.
But you're talking about paying to do that. That means you're bypassing the vetting process.
I'm not disagreeing with you, James. What I'm saying, though, is that is how it works. I mean, if you got money, you're gonna be to bypass all kinds of stuff. You can go out and really harm somebody. If you got money, you can get out on bail. I mean, it's just what it is. People with money get treated better than people without. That's anywhere.
So basically what you're saying is all the things that MAGA was talking about, they value. It's okay to toss that shit out the window only because the person that's doing it has money.
They may have exaggerated a little bit on that. They may have exaggerated. Just a tad.
A little bit?
Just a tad.
Tim,
just a tad.
Not even a year ago, what they were complaining about. Oh, Biden is overreaching with all these executive orders. How many executive orders has Trump done since January?
He is an executive order in chief. I mean, it's a lot. It's probably going to be historic. I don't mean it's for a guy that's only been in there a year. It's probably going to be historic because I don't think Congress has really done much of anything but just collected a check. Pretty easy to be a congressperson right now. You really don't have to do shit. You can take a phone call here and there. I mean, it's been a pretty good time to be Congress. They haven't done anything.
Not only that, remember they were swearing up and down. The Democrats are going to use the army against the citizens. Who's the one sending the National Guard into the streets?
I'm hearing it's lowering crime, James. I'm hearing that's a good thing. People are telling me they feel so.
Tim, you mean to tell me we're going to send people who have no idea what the laws are in these areas? They're sitting there like protecting and serving the law. They're following the rules.
I'm being told that folks are feeling so safe. They don't mind walking down the street, walking to dinner in DC when they were afraid to even park their car there before this. So I'm being told the crime is very low now.
The crime is not being low because they're not even in the areas where the crime is.
This is what they're saying.
The crime is already dropped. The crime is already dropping before they even showed up. Trump just used that as an excuse. What's the point? What's the point in them trying to make a QRF around the country to stop protesting if that's a protected ability?
Yeah, but there's a difference between crime coming down and crime plummeting. They're suggesting under Trump, crime has plummeted to the point where, I mean, I think they said for a time in D.C. they didn't have a murder for like a week or two. That's big. I mean, he's saving lives.
You talking about the same people that hide any report that's negative?
They say a lot of liberals do the same thing. And in the comments, Rick Morris says, Tim, I've lost confidence in you as a level-headed individual. How the hell did I lose confidence, Rick? Now, listen, I get what you're saying there, James. I'm just simply saying that folks are claiming that the crime in D.C., even with it coming down, was still astronomically high. And since President Trump
But they have no stats to back it up, Tim. They're just saying this stuff. Just like they're saying, oh, the economy's doing great. If the economy's doing great, why is unemployment so high? Why is inflation so high?
Well, short-term pain. They had to fire a bunch of federal workers and things like that. You know, the tariffs, some of that stuff is
short-term pain, but the main things that they've been getting rid of is the oversight that's supposed to be protecting the people and the jobs and cutting out jobs in the government, which is slowing shit down and fucking shit up.
Well, you got to give a guy a chance. He's only been in less than a year. A lot of stuff you're complaining about. He's
done worse in this 1 year than I would say post 9/11 Bush.
Worse how? Under Bush, the economy was significantly worse. What do you mean? How has he been so worse?
How many people have lost their job this year, Tim? I think we're like close to over 1 million people right now.
Well, I'm hearing that a lot of it was waste, fraud, and abuse. They were just sitting around collecting a paycheck.
You trying to say waste, fraud, and abuse? Tim, all the stuff that they did, all they did was gut the oversight. They didn't touch the defense budget where the most waste, fraud, and abuse is. In fact, the changes that they did, like all the stuff that they said, oh, we did this, we're already paying for contracts.
Well, let's put it like this. Due to the shutdown, we haven't seen the last quarter's numbers officially because of the government shutdown. We'll have to see those numbers before we can have this debate. I got to move it on, but we got to see those numbers. James, tough sell, but I appreciate you coming through.
No problem, sir.
Anytime. Come on back anytime. Real quick in the comments, Tim is selling out for money, says Paul Bill.
Someone is at the front door.
Is that some angry Democrats at my door? I'm feeling like Brett Kavanaugh. Wait a minute. First of all, when you say Tim is selling out for money, God damn it, do you see a bunch of shit popping up on the screen? Who the hell is giving me the money? Have you seen a bunch of galaxies popping up? I asked you folks to help your boy out with the TikTok cap go. Have you seen it? Poppy, what are you talking about? Selling out for money. Where the money at? Let me know where it's coming from. I'm not seeing that. Real quick in the comments, Aliwan, I think what it says, Aliwan, I'm going to pronounce that right. 2025 recap. The Russian army did not take Kyiv. It effectively occupied the White House and the GOP. And Putin hosts photos of President Trump sucking Bubba. At this point, DT stands for deep throat. Damn. Now, let's break that down. You're saying 2025 recap, the Russian army did not take Kyiv. That is true. Predominantly because of the United States. Thanks in part to the United States stopping that. Because they probably would have taken Kyiv if they weren't getting, if the Ukrainians were not getting so much help from the West, particularly us. But they still had a whole lot of shit left over from the Biden administration. If it was left up to Trump, yeah, they probably would have taken Kyiv because Trump believes that the Ukrainians are the ones that are corrupt. He said it effectively occupied, you said that Russia effectively occupied the White House and the GOP. Yikes. There's a lot of GOP members that are favorable to Russia. Certainly there is. And he says, and Putin hosts photos of Trump sucking Bubba at this point. DT stands for deep throat. I don't know what to do with that last part. Anyway, let me go back to the box. Tim doesn't appreciate this. I haven't had, yes, I do, Devo. I do appreciate the subs. I appreciate the subscribers. However, I haven't done a live that's subscriber only in a while. May have to do that. Let me go back to the box and thank you, Debo, for your support. I don't take that lightly. But that ain't got nothing to do with today's broadcast, though. Nothing to do with that. Continued on. Tim, your fluffing is to a point of no return. I believe you walk around alone in your house with the MAGA hat on. So what he's suggesting, I'm walking around butt naked with a MAGA hat on? What the fuck? Damn. Oh, my God. Didn't Cal. I tried to bring him up. I don't know what happened. We'll continue on. We'll make it happen with Andy. Please stop your ranting, says Carol Smith. Ranting, huh? Andy, good evening.
Hello.
Hey.
Hold on, let me put in the earbud so I can hear you better.
Sure. Talking about the State of the Union address coming on in
Wait to hear what Wild's going to tell us tonight.
Yeah. Are you going to be, well, appreciate the TikTok crowd. Thank you there. Blue One Banks, thank you for the support.
I don't know what he's going to say tonight. I'm just going to hold my chair and pray for the best. But I heard you up here fluffing about Donald Trump's work schedule. Well, let me refer you back to Axios from 2018 to 2019, where they showed where Donald Trump had all these areas marked off as executive time, where there were no actual meetings, where unlike Joe Biden actually had scheduled meetings and was very, very, much like a president should be. He didn't take a lot of time off to do garbage. It says their styles are very different. Donald Trump likes to come out in a flurry and all that, but that doesn't mean he's doing more work. Let's be real. Like Axios said that out of the year, he worked 77 hours and had 294 hours of executive time. That don't sound like work.
Well, I will tell you this. I think Trump might be the one who might be so dedicated that he doesn't write it in the schedule. He just does it. The man has a personality.
So other people do that for him? Presidents have never done that. Somebody else keeps his calendar. That's a nice try, though, Tim. But
well, wait a minute. You say somebody else.
And actually, I would like to tell you that even MAGA comes up with better excuses than that. That's pitiful. Like you can do better.
Well, when you say somebody else normally maintains the president's social media and all that stuff. Trump does all that on his own. He's a busy man.
He don't make his own schedule. We already know because we've met his lovely lady that runs his schedule. She's the Iron. What's her name? The one who's currently complaining about them to Vanity Fair. That lady. That's who keeps his schedule.
Doug in the comments says, I know you're talking about the woman who said all that controversial shit. Doug in the comments says, Trump doesn't get paid, lady. So in other words, you're hammering this guy and he's working for free.
Oh, really? So please tell me when he divested from his companies, and like he was supposed to, and is not literally grifting off the American public. And I'll wait because I know that answer ain't never going to come. Because I'm watching Don Jr. over in Qatar make bank. And literally, what president doubles his wealth while running for office. I think the only way you can do that is to be corrupt. Go look, he did.
Wait, you said double his wealth while running for. You don't think when the Obamas got elected, they were still paying?
Double his wealth.
Hold on, hang on.
He didn't get his money until after he got out from a book deal and public speaking. Y'all need to quit lying on that man.
When Obama got elected, they were still paying off student loans. You tell me they didn't double their wealth while being president for 8 years?
I'm talking in the billions of dollars, Tim.
Okay.
How do you make $1 billion running for office?
Bro.
How do you do that? Explain that to me. If you want to give him an out, you're going I can explain where Obama got his money. You need to tell me where Trump got his money. Like, you ain't just gonna run that past and act like. So where'd he get his money, Tim? Where'd that money come from?
Well, the guy has a whole.
Where?
The guy's a big time businessman. People are using his golf club.
Yeah, he made that much money his whole life. I don't want to hear that. Where'd he get that much money in 1 year?
I mean,
you're gonna have to show me.
Well, he doesn't. He's not obligated to show you how he's making money.
Stop fluffing for that man.
This is not fluffing. I'm saying
it is. And look, Wharton Business School, his own college, says that his economy is trash. The school he is so proud that he went to does not think that his economy is good. Explain that one.
Well, I'm going to say that even though people are suggesting his economy is not good, the actual American citizens, they're not saying it's that bad. A lot of folks are saying they're doing okay under Trump.
Wait, you mean that 32%? Because that's what his approval rating is. You mean that 32% of uneducated America who doesn't actually bother to keep up with facts and just sitting there and listens to every word that drops out of his mouth? That 32%, while the 70%, the majority, thinks he should stop?
I don't believe his poll numbers are down to 32% just because of the economy. I mean, he does say
the number one reason.
He does say and do a lot of controversial things. I mean, he gets in a lot of fights. I think what he just said about Meathead, the guy that was from All in the Family. All of that stuff has something to do probably with his poll numbers.
Well, first of all, those poll numbers were before that. Can't blame that on that. Nice try. I'll give you that. Second of all, they listed what they asked the viewers, the pollers about. And economy was on the list, Tim. So you cannot sit here and tell me when they list it and people say he's doing bad. I'm sorry that the minority here that is having a fit, not getting their way, and Donald Trump's just doing what they say. But realistically, the majority of us think he sucks.
I want to ask you this. And by the way, in the comments, Elliot McCoy says, Tim, I'm turning you off to that. I can't take no more of you tonight. And then he says, hashtag Tim is MAGA. Wow, am I just turning like that? Let me ask you, Andy, has he done anything good for the country? You seem to be hard on him.
The First Step Act, the CARE Act, and he expanded choice for veterans. He expanded the Obama plan. But that's it.
I didn't hear nothing about the border.
And everything else he has done is detrimental to us.
The border?
It's going to make the GDP go down over the long run because I know you don't know this, so let me educate you.
Okay.
When Joe Biden, who was actually working and got meaning legislation passed, more than the last 50 years since FDR, mind you, why you think he was being so lazy? Why he managed to get all that passed. A big portion of that was manufacturing chips and other things in America. He literally was bringing manufacturing back and did the work.
How about
Trump's just out here giving that shit lip service. Now, realistically, we know that Joe Biden gave the people that live in the rural areas where Donald Trump's constituent lives high-speed internet. Maybe they'll learn something now. He also managed to make sure that the products that said made in the USA got a tax cut.
How about the notion?
So he actually put in meaningful legislation to help people that were building businesses in America and gave them money to help do that. And Donald Trump just talks about it. So explain that.
Okay. How about the notion that you're not taking? Okay, wait. You're not giving them any credit for all of the money that's going to come in from the tariffs.
Our money? You mean the American public's money? The American public that's going to spend between 3.8 and 4.9% more, $1,000, because it was actually in dollars, more this year on goods and services than we're going to save. You mean, because you were talking about the price of gas went down 30%. I heard that earlier. Let me point out that tariff that he did level on Brazil to let out that hug dealer made the price of beef go up more than 30 cents. So I don't know how it's going to help us when the 30 cents you say he saved me in gas, I just went to the grocery store and spent on beef.
You're also not giving them credit for all of the jobs that are going to come home because of the tariffs.
What jobs?
All the manufacturers. There are people that have already committed to bringing their manufacturing back.
Where is that happening? No, where is that happening? Because Donald Trump, let's be honest, Joe Biden brought the manufacturers here to build the chips in Georgia, and Donald Trump deported them. Like, we had to have a whole summit to just bring them back. So how is Donald Trump helping? He's fucking up the deals that Joe Biden made it already. He can't even hold down what was already done to help this country. He's got to stick his 2 cents in and fuck that up too.
Andy in the comments said right here in Kentucky. So jobs. I mean, listen, there have been folks or CEOs or whatever you want to call it that have committed to bringing jobs back to America because of Trump's tariffs.
When they do that, I'll give him credit. But I'm not going to give him credit on lip service, because how can we believe him when half of the shit he tells us are lies? I don't know where MAGA gets their magic thing that lets him know when they're telling the truth, because they don't.
I don't know. I think that you might just really not like Trump no matter what comes. So what are you expecting out of the State of the Union?
No,
what are you
Trump derangement syndrome? Trump derangement syndrome is believing that Trump works a longer workday than Joe Biden. That's derangement syndrome. It's actually deranged to think that Donald Trump has done more worthwhile legislation to help we the people. That's what's deranged. It is also deranged to think that Donald Trump is a good man and tells the truth. So, sir, I must tell you that as someone who says they're not MAGA, you sure do sound like it today, sir, because you have never fluffed harder for the orange Cheeto in your life.
This is not fluffing. This is asking the viewers questions. You're trying to convince me, though, that somehow, some way that Biden held the same work schedule as Trump. I find that humorous. I mean, we've seen campaigning how Trump was campaigning more than Kamala Harris.
Doesn't matter. He likes being out in front of the spotlight. Narcissists always do. That's the only reason he wrote that about Rob Reiner, because realistically, none of that had anything to do with him. His son had mental problems and a hug problem long before that. And let's talk about not the one hug dealer that Donald Trump let out, the 4. Because there's the guy from that you're talking about, and then there's 2, a guy named Larry something in New York, and 1 in Chicago, that he thought were doing too much time. God forbid they actually do time for their crimes, and gave them clemency. And then he, of all people, to pay off the libertarians for voting for him, he fucking gave a pardon to Russ Ulbricht. The largest hug dealer to ever exist on there is no larger hug dealer than Ulbricht.
I have nothing to say.
He is the computer dealer to the world, not just the U.S.
I have nothing to say about Trump's pardons. I'll agree with you. His pardons are suspicious. MAGA Reacts in the comments says, you know what's deranged? He says, if you think Biden works harder than Trump, also, we never bring up bills, this job of Congress. So he's saying that what's deranged is thinking that Biden does a harder job than Trump. Trump is up at 2 o'clock in the morning still posting shit. That guy does keep a hell of a schedule.
Posting on the internet ain't working for we the people. That's his private time. And considering when they looked at Trump's schedule, like I said, 294 hours of executive time and 77 hours of actual work, when we can clock Joe Biden in real meetings with actual people who actually did things that went on to, bad results. See, we can see that because there's actual facts. Because Donald Trump right now won't even let his office tell anybody what he's doing all day. Does that sound like a man who's actually not trying to cover something up? Because, Joe Biden didn't have a problem with you seeing his list of what he was doing because he was working.
So you believe that Trump is hiding things from the American people?
Yeah, look at his hands. What's wrong with him? Why has he had 4...
MRIs.
You only supposed to have 1 annual physical for the president. Why has he had 4? And cognitive exams? Y'all talk about, y'all lied about Joe Biden. Who's lying now? because the man had a perfectly good speech and then started talking about snakes, the black mamba, and venom. Like, don't even nobody know where that fucking shit came from. That shit came out of left field so hard. Like, he's crazy. Y'all just okay. Y'all, it's on y'all, man.
Listen, Andy, he's getting a little bit older. I mean, listen, the guy is up all times of night making this country great. He's getting a little older.
See, I look at it this way. Y'all didn't have any empathy for Joe Biden when he was actually doing work and could prove it. But y'all say Donald Trump's executive time and him tweeting on damn Truth Social trying to make him have some money, grifting like hell. And look, Joe Biden actually did something. He put forth the grid money to help, with the grid around the country so we have better electricity. He, lobbied towards having the clean energy so, Tesla would sell cars. Wasn't Trump trying to sell Teslas out on the White House lawn? That should have made Trump happy.
He was recommending you buy a Tesla. I mean, Trump.
Right. So his policies look just like Joe Biden's policies, but all of a sudden Joe Biden's policies are trash. Why is that?
Let me ask it to you this way.
How is it they could do so many of the same things and Republicans say that what Joe did was garbage and praise Donald Trump? Because if they're exactly the same, you're going to have to make that make sense to me.
A lot of it is politics, Andy, but let me ask you this. With Trump holding a State of the Union, with Trump hosting the State of the Union tonight, what can he say to make you feel a little bit better? You seem to be uptight with this guy. Is there anything he can say to make you feel better?
That he's going to step down from the office and go enjoy his retirement.
He's got to quit to make you happy?
What, do you want me to lie to you? Why do you want me to lie to you? I know Republicans like lies, but I don't like lies. Why do you want me to lie to you?
I don't want you to lie, but I don't want it to look like you're just not going to get a guy a fair chance. He's only been in office for 1 year, less than a year. You're telling me there's nothing after only 10, 11 months. There's nothing he can say.
Tell that to the people that he put in a El Salvadorian prison with no end date on their sentence, who didn't do anything but cross the border. Tell that to the people who got drug away from their kids. Tell that to the people who literally are having to live paycheck to paycheck. And look, even Republican Congress broke up with him today because they're going to have that vote on health care.
So your take on
Mike Johnson to kick rocks.
I saw that. You got a handful of Republicans siding with the Democrats to give them 3-year extension. It should come to no surprise why they picked 3 years. 3-year extension on the subsidy. You think it'll go through though? You think Mike Johnson gonna call it up for a vote?
I think that they got enough Republicans that he can't stop it. That's what they were saying today. He lost enough Republicans. He can't control the House. That don't sound like a president doing a good job. I don't remember. Look, that's twice under Donald Trump that his Speaker of the House has had bullshit going on. Remember Kevin McCarthy? Like, Donald Trump can't even keep his fucking people in play.
So what are you saying?
They're all over the place.
What are you saying? We about to get a whole lot of congressional rhinos out of this?
Well, 20 of them are going to retire or step down. So there's that. So when you got a whole party jumping ship and you out here trying to tell us they did a good job, we're just kind of looking at you sideways because your own people are fleeing the sinking rat ship.
Wow.
Because they know. So, like, be for real.
So if what you're saying is true, that MAGA's a sinking rat ship or whatever you want to call it, what are you expecting for the last 2 years of Trump's term?
I don't know, but look at how many Democrats have swept these damn elections. Even in red, like Mississippi losing their Republican stronghold over their Congress was phenomenal. Because it just goes to show that people are waking up and realizing it's bullshit.
And you believe all this is the responsibility of Trump?
Well, I don't remember all of us waking up in panic mode when Joe Biden was in office. I say let's bring back boredom to the presidency.
I remember us waking up
and wake up every day in a state of flight or fright because we don't know if the president's got a brain left in his head.
I can tell you a day I remember the left waking up in panic mode, June 27th, 2024. After that debate, the Democrats woke up in panic like a mother. I got to move it on, but I do agree with you that unless they change tune, the Republicans could have a hell of a year in the midterms. And it's mainly because that's what happens. The shellacking is certainly, in store likely. But I got to move it on, Andy.
Let me put it to you this way. It didn't even have to wait till then. The fact that this many Republicans have already defected twice, once on the JE files and now on this, says that the Republicans no longer hold the Congress because their people won't vote for their policy. So that's a Trump problem. And you can say whatever you want to about Joe Biden. He ain't ever had that kind of problem.
Fair enough. Good conversation, Andy. Appreciate it. We'll give you the win. Let me go back to the box. Tap the screen and get the likes on up to 110, if you will, because we knew he wasn't in his right mind, says James. Don't forget Florida says, looking in the comments, Ellie one says, Marjorie Taylor Greene just called blind Trump defenders a cult. Laugh my ass off. And we talked about, one of the things I wanted to, was part of the show we discussed earlier in regards to Marjorie Taylor Greene. It's something she said recently. Here's the actual quote. Said this earlier this week. She said, I was called a traitor by a man that I fought for 6 years for and gave him my loyalty for free. Let me tell you what a traitor is, says Marjorie. A traitor is an American that serves foreign countries and themselves. So that's Marjorie Taylor Greene suggesting that Trump is not serving the American people, but rather serving the needs of foreign countries and himself. Wow. I think she may need to up the amount of security she has. Tim, you will have a career after MAGA falls as an orange ball fluffer. What are you suggesting? What the hell are you suggesting? What is an orange ball fluffer? That's my post-career, huh? I don't know if I have a career now. I still have a fucking day job. It should be loyalty to the Constitution and the people she represents. Yes. Problem is, I don't think Marjorie Taylor Greene really has a listening ear. I think the Democrats are going to temporarily replay her quotes and things like that because she is slamming President Trump. But fact is, the Democrats don't want her. I mean, she sided with Trump 98% of the time. She ain't a Democrat. She's not an ally to the Democratic Party. It's just that what Trump has done to others is now being done to her, and she don't like it. But the Democrats ain't gonna side with Marjorie Taylor Greene. She just had a 60 Minutes interview not long ago where the host asked her, how do you respond to the fact that many suggest that you too are responsible for political violence and all of the name calling and stuff? And she started attacking the reporter, talking about CBS was a low-rated network. This is Marjorie Taylor Greene. So even though it looks like she's had some sort of an epiphany and realized that she was causing harm, when that reporter pushed her, the old Marjorie Taylor Greene that people have come to know and love or know and hate came out of her. So you're just mad at Trump. You're the same brat you always been. You're just mad at Trump because of what he did to you. That's how it kind of came across. How can you hang pictures of those creeps in the background? Seriously, says super something. The pictures are hung because it's a political show. It has nothing to do with support for President Trump, Biden, or any of that. Because if you go back to the show we used to do before Trump and JD Vance were president, we held up pictures of Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. So it's just a different. And if the commander-in-chief changes, the pictures will change with him. It's a political show. So that's who's up. Let me go back to the box. Erica Kirk equals 28 First Lady, and you guys know it. Erica Kirk is not going to be the First Lady to JD Vance. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Try it again with Denko. Invest in a printer and print out every tweet Christ like Trump did and make it into a book and give it to your child. Then they will know Christ and love and be saved. I don't think anybody wants to do that. There will probably end up being books that show you every tweet that Trump has ever made. Denko, good evening.
Good evening. Good evening.
You watching the State of the Union tonight?
Hell no.
Oh, come on. Ain't none of these liberals watching this shit. Why would you watch that?
I can watch the highlights like a basketball game, man. I don't need to sit there. I cannot stomach him continuously just lie after lie after lie, and people out there clapping for it. I can't do it, man. I did for a while, but man, it got to be too much.
What about the notion that it is your civic duty to pay attention to what's going on politically? Watch the damn speech.
No, they can't tell me it's my civic duty to do that, but then
when I do respond to everything he says, oh, you got TDS. You can't have it both ways.
Yeah.
Either you want me to pay attention to every fucking thing the dude says, or I can sit back and I can watch all of the people aghast after he says some stupid shit tonight.
Well, but how about this though? If you only watch the highlights are going to be skewed depending on where you're watching. Because if Trump says something good, something meaningful, MSNBC or MS1, whatever they call MS Now, they're not going to show you that. CNN is not going to show you that as much. Fox News will show you that. But if Trump says something that's ridiculous, like Venezuela stole our oil or our land, like Mike said, you're not going to see that on Fox. So if you watch the highlights are going to be biased.
Well, I mean, what difference does it make? Regardless of what he says, like 90% of it's going to be a lie. And the 10%,
90%? Wow.
And the 10% that he says is true is going to be irrelevant to our lives. It's going to be like, oh, yeah, we can continue construction on the East Wing. Aren't you happy? No.
Well, if he makes the White House look dignified and look to if he makes the White House look up to the standards of what a modern day White House should be, where you can entertain guests without putting them in tents and things like that, is that not a good thing?
Nobody has ever been in a tent.
Yeah, they have. That's what they said when they were hosting parties and stuff.
Oh, you're talking about when they host parties outside? Yes, they enjoying nature and shit. Yes, the Rose Garden. Yes, many presidents have hosted many events on the. They don't need a ballroom. They've never needed a ballroom.
I don't know. I think that because many people on the left, I think the timing is more the issue. But many people on the left are even saying that the ballroom is not that bad of an addition to the White House. It's just the timing of it and how he did it without telling anybody or giving any floor plans. But listen,
so you said that everybody, these people are okay with him tearing down a little historic monument to this country.
Plus,
he don't even have the plans. He went to court and said, "Look, you can't tell me to stop because look, I already tore it down." And we in negotiations with somebody because the last guy didn't agree, didn't want to do whatever it was Trump wanted him to do. So just forget it.
Yeah, I don't disagree that the biggest issue, I don't think is the building of the ballroom. I think it's exactly what you said, is you didn't get permission and you didn't even tell anybody what you're going to fucking do. You just start. All we know is the place is just starting to get torn down and you're talking about something great is going to replace it. I think if he had like for instance, they're building a new Air Force One. Not this thing from Qatar, but they're actually building a new Air Force One. Trump used to have a big, huge replica of it in the Oval Office on the desk, so you can see what Air Force One, the new one's going to be. I think it's red, white, and blue instead of just blue, white, and silver or whatever. So you knew what it was going to look like. The problem with the ballroom is they didn't give you any explanation that it was even going to be done. He just started tearing the thing down. So I think if he had done it the right way, and that's a phrase you hear from the right all the time, do it the right way. If he had done it the right way, like they did with the new Air Force One, I don't think it would be as much controversy.
It wouldn't, because it would have went through Congress, which is the people that's supposed to appropriate the funding. And now it went from, 300 million to now 400 million. Just like that. But the guy who says he always gets his construction done, what do you say, in under time and under budget, that guy, he got quarter of the damn White House torn down.
Well, he might have needed He might have needed.
Macariac say you can see the design on YouTube.
Yeah, I mean, but the problem is you couldn't see the design on YouTube until after the destruction have already began. That's the problem.
That's not even the final design. That's why he just fired the architect that was doing the designing, because he didn't want to. He said he didn't. It was something about the scale or the size of it that the architect said, no, that's not going to work.
Maybe the price increased a little. I mean, the cost of gold is going up. Maybe it took a little while to get a little bit extra gold. I mean, look, as Macariac says, 400 million ain't that much. And by the way, He's not paying. And by the way, it's not coming out of the taxpayer's pocket. Is that not a great thing that this man was able to secure the money to redo the White House from donors? He didn't have to use our money. How is that not good?
So he just went from 300 million in donors to 400 million without saying a word. He could just say numbers, just like people don't understand that he bought. Well, we got that supposedly free plane that's being retrofitted. Now he just bought 2 other planes that are similar to the new plane that we're going to have, one for training and one for spare parts.
Knocking the door of money shall be open. He's really good at finding money. Listen.
Why can't he do that? Why can't he do that when it comes to them saying, well, let's spend $300 billion more on keeping people's insurance affordable? No, that's bridge too far.
Well, give it time. I mean, he had to repeal Obamacare first. Looks like that's about to happen. This maybe by spring, we would get something significantly better because Trump is going to top Obama. So give it time. I mean, he's only been in office a little bit less than a year. Are you going to?
We're not going to. No, we're not going to play that game. We're not going to play that game. You can say that to MAGA Reacts and Jeremy and all of them because they was the ones talking about, give them a little bit of time. I say, look, if it's not changing about a year, then we can have a conversation. It's been a fucking year now.
And right now, while we're speaking, there is a dignified transfer of National Guardsmen taking place. I'm actually looking at it on the big screen on News Nation. You know, the bodies of the folks that were lost in Syria has just come home. I believe Trump is going to be at this. That's happening right now, I think, from what I'm looking at.
I think Trump.
That already happened. Yeah. Okay.
He was going golfing.
What? Has he done anything right? Has he done any fucking thing right?
I can't remember offhand. Maybe if I dig deep. But what I will tell you, though, one thing y'all was just talking about is, has anybody said anything about that special election in Kentucky where the Democrat won by like 47 points?
The Democrats
is anybody paying attention to all of these special elections around the country, not just in blue states, in deep red states?
Yeah, it is some kind of weird phenomenon that people are going into polling places and making a mistake and hitting Democrat, apparently. It is happening. I don't get it. It is happening in a lot of red areas. Like Andy just brought up what happened in Mississippi. People are going in these red areas and they're making a mistake and voting Democrat. Might have to be investigated. Sounds like a bit of election fraud, if you know what I'm talking about.
Exactly. I was about to say, we figured out all of those illegals were voting Republican.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be odd?
I don't know. Might have to get investigated. You know, you can't trust these damn Democrats. Yeah, I don't know. So,
and one thing I want to add though is you were talking about gas prices, and I will say that yes, I will say that I have seen about a 20 to 30 cent decrease.
Okay.
On average, like the other caller said, yes, it goes up and down. I've seen it go anywhere for mostly like the last year or two in my area has gone between 258 to like 289 or something like that. This time it has gone below that.
Yeah. I would just say this last year, now it was a little higher toward the beginning of the years, but I would say just this whole year in general, for U.S. gas prices, this has been refreshing. I mean, we can try to say it ain't Trump's fault or whatever, but it's happening under his watch. At all the complaints,
I get what you're saying, but you lose all of the context behind what you're saying when you just say, "Well, if it happened with him, he get credit," because you don't give him. You don't give him the criticism he deserves when bad shit goes on.
Yeah, I do.
Because I ain't heard nobody running around talking about how could you let our soldiers and our airmen get killed over there in Syria when they had no fucking business over there.
Yeah.
I don't hear nobody.
Yeah.
Now, the same people that was like, during Biden, 13 service members were killed and it's all Joe Biden's fault. Now we got, why in the hell is they over there in the middle of all of that shit when he's saying that we shouldn't be around there, we should pull our troops out of everywhere, that we shouldn't let them come to our country, but we over there doing what?
Yeah, I don't. You get an argument from me, and I actually do bring that up. Is that Trump promised to get us out of overseas conflicts? I use it in regards to Venezuela. Tonight, I'm actually giving Trump credit for a few things. It's pissing off a hell of a lot of liberals, but normally I am chastising them for that stuff. In my MAGA audience, people write me, "You see your fucking viewers going down. You sound like a far left liberal." Tonight, I'm actually giving them credit for a few things, and it's pissing off the liberals.
I get it. Yeah. Do your thing. You got a job to do. I got a job to do.
Fair enough.
You talking to MAGA, I'm talking to MAGA too. The same people that was pissed the fuck off about Joe Biden, about what happened on his watch, need to keep that same energy when we go into Venezuela and American soldiers start dying. We need to keep that energy when we find out that he wrote a whole damn true social message talking about nothing but let's take the oil, the fucking oil, the oil. He said it about 10 times in his recent tweet like last night.
But you got to give Trump credit because unlike...
No, I don't.
Hold on. Hear me out. You got to give Trump credit because unlike Biden or Obama or Bush or somebody, if Trump can literally have a transforming campaign platform and folks will follow it. So if he campaigns on, I'm going to get us out of overseas conflicts, but then get in there and start getting us into overseas conflicts, a lot of his supporters will just follow it and say, okay, well, now he's doing things we needed to have done. So he don't necessarily have to adhere to his campaign promises, like ending the war in 24 hours, or, lowering gas prices on day one is now turned into short-term pain for long-term gain. They just follow it. So he does get a benefit from that because he doesn't have to necessarily deliver.
But I'm a citizen too. He doesn't get a benefit. Should I give benefit to Jim Jones?
Well,
should I give benefit to David Koresh? Well, he did have a lot of people who was willing to get burned to death. Jim Jones, he made them drink.
They didn't know they were going to get burned. The ATF tricked them into getting burned. They didn't know that.
Look, they were all down for it until it got to the end, and he said, "Look, hey, we all in this together. We got to go down." And these MAGA people would do the same thing. So I don't give him credit for it. There's some of these MAGA people that really, if he gave the word, would engage what they believe to be a civil war. You
think MAGA favors Trump so much they would go out like Dave Koresh supporters?
Look, people like MAGA Reacts and Jeremy, even though Jeremy be trying to back away from him, he come on here and he'd champion every damn thing the man do. But then he'd be like, well, I'm not really MAGA anymore, but everything he says is true. Everything he says is true. He's right about everything.
Whoa.
But I'm not really MAGA. MAGA Reacts is up here. He about one country on that damn that new list Trump got from getting deported his damn self. He added some more countries onto that list.
He did add some more.
I'm just waiting for him to hit Egypt. And I'm going to have a damn party over here.
You're not going to report MAGA Reacts, are you?
I damn sure am. You better hope he ain't got no identifying information on his fucking page.
Oh, come on. I don't want to hear from MAGA Reacts telling me he's in Egypt now. I want to hear him in Miami. I shouldn't even be telling what city he lives in now.
Look, they got Starlink service over there in Egypt.
Can you imagine if one of my MAGA viewers came on here on a live stream and said, I got deported? Oh my God. I would get so many emojis in the comments. I hope that never happens. My comment section will be filled with emojis if a MAGA got deported.
And one more thing I wanted to say about that. When I think it was Andy, she was talking about how, people people saying that Trump is getting so much done, but everything he's getting done is being done by executive order. They talking about Biden he was sleepy, we didn't know, but he got the most legislative accomplishments of.
Whoa, thank you. That's the one. Oh, we gave that to you, but keep going.
He all of that stuff that Biden got done, infrastructure, all of that stuff that Trump is taking credit for now, if he ain't crawling back the money. Nobody was saying shit when it was goddamn highways all across America was getting redone. streets, the infrastructure, all of that money that he had dedicated to building the infrastructure for this new chip, this chip manufacturing. All of this shit that Trump is doing is literally going away on day fucking one of a new administration because it's all executive order. The only thing that's going to stay is the financing part of it.
It was really okay, Mr. Walter. He said he's really showing you some love there. I will say this though, because Trump had Congress in his pocket. He didn't have to do all this by executive order. He could have done a lot more with Congress. They weren't going to stop him from doing shit. I don't know why he did put his legacy in the hands of executive order, because you're right. If it's a liberal, they're going to just cancel all his shit out like he did Biden and Obama stuff. I don't know why he did that. He didn't have to.
Yeah. I just want to say thanks to Mr. Walter White. But you're exactly right. All of this stuff he is doing is executive order. I don't understand why people keep talking about this. Well, yeah, he's got all of this money that's being promised and all of this money. There's not a piece of paper in the goddamn country that says these people are going to invest that kind of money in America. It's all on a wink and a nod. He goes over there and says, hey, I need you to invest, $1 trillion in our country. And they say, sure. And then he comes back and adds that to the total.
Yeah.
And nothing is getting built. None of that shit is happening. He just talking because nobody uses capital expenditures on something that somebody just thought up and just told you about. It needs to be sustainable. If somebody's gonna bring a factory back to America, they gotta build the factory, they gotta train the people, they gotta get everybody ready to go. And the next administration gonna come in and say, I don't care what he promised you. None of that shit is gonna.
It's gonna be just like with him breaking Obama's deal with Iran, which was actually on paper. He shouldn't have been able to break that alone, but it's gonna be just like that. I don't care what he promised you, we're not gonna adhere to it. That's going. I mean, certainly some of because Trump is kind of against the countries that we're normally referring to as allies, and he's more favorable to people that we don't normally see as allies. So
the people that actually hold our debt, like Europe and Japan, those are the people who, if they all got together in BRICS and just said, look, we're gonna cash in dollar, we're gonna trade it, we're gonna cash in all our bonds, America would literally be bankrupt.
Shit, Trump might
all these people. Huh?
Trump might threaten to go to war if you do. I mean, you this is a cowboy. You can't just bully the bully.
Ain't that something? If somebody owe you money, you gonna be like, hey man, I need my money.
Ain't that how they do in the hood? Ain't that exactly how they do in the hood, man? Where my money at? What the fuck you fucking with me for, man? What did the guy say? I told your monkey ass I'm gonna pay you when I feel like it.
Look, you tripping about a funky ass $20.
Yeah. So that's how it goes. I mean, Trump would definitely, if they tried to do that, I'm sure Trump would find a way to threaten them. Didn't Cal?
Hey, one last thing though.
Sure.
This is about the gas, and we admit the gas is lower. It's lower. Okay. First of all, nobody said anything when gas went from $4, $5 under Biden after we came out of C-19, and then it dropped down like in the 3s and 2s. Nobody said nothing about that drop, but we throwing flowers on Trump because it went down like 20 or 30 cents in the last year.
The bar is a little bit lower for Trump. We get it. It's a little bit lower.
But remember when the gas prices were high and they said the reason why everything was high was because of what? Because gas, because it takes money to get everything to market, transportation. Now oil has crashed and we down in the 50s, like $55, $58 a barrel.
People come
but the gas ain't coming down proportionately. And why are the stores saying, shit, we can get our product to market cheaper now? We all gonna have a big sale.
Yeah, and that ain't happening until that happens. You're gonna have people complaining about the cost of goods and services. Didn't Cal? Appreciate you coming through. Good talk. All right. You got 2 galaxies out of that, goddammit. Let me go back to the box, tap the screen, get the likes on up to 130, if you will. Once the economy opened up, the world economy, then the price of oil went up due to the demand. Says giant robot. Good call. Yes, cowboy. When it says cowboy baby something, appreciate you in the input there. All Trump supporters are still waiting 2 weeks for Trump's health care plan. Look, I'm going to say this right off the bat. I think that if they come up with a way of extending the Obamacare subsidies, it's going to be a bigger benefit to Trump than it will be to the liberals. I really believe that if you want to just hate Trump, I'm not taking, listen, if you want to put hurting Trump above helping the American people, you would not want those subsidies to continue. Because if people's health care premiums double and triple like they're talking about, that's going to hurt the Trump administration badly. Yeah, they'll spin it and say it's the Democrats' fault and things like that. But just like I keep talking about, if something happens under your watch, you get credit or criticism for it. If a liberal was in there, those subsidies will still be there. The liberals want to give you free health care. This is coming from the right. So I actually tend to believe that getting some Republicans to go with the Democrats and extend the health care subsidies is a thorn that will not be in the side of the Trump administration. Because if those subsidies disappeared and people started losing healthcare and stuff like that, the Trump administration, that's a major issue they got to deal with immediately, because you're gonna have every news outlet, and I'm not talking about the cable news outlets that lean left and right. I mean, even your local news, your local ABC or CBS affiliate is gonna be showing people in your town talking about how they can't get dialysis and they can't get this and this person can't get their diabetes drugs. People people in town with you. It's going to be all that would really hurt the Trump administration to let those subsidies go away and make shit go up like that. I think that they will benefit if they can extend that, because healthcare won't be a major issue with the Republican Party if they extend those subsidies and leave it the way it is. If those go away, healthcare is going to become like is going to be instantly the number one issue in the country that's got to be solved immediately. So the Republicans can complain about it, but in my opinion, it's actually going to work out in their favor, at least in that area. Democrats collected money from company billed by taxes, huh? Trump and the GOP own healthcare. They own healthcare at this time. Yeah, but it's not going to draw a lot of conversation if the subsidies continue. They do own it, but if the subsidies continue for 3 years, it's not going to be as big of a conversation piece, because healthcare will kind of continue as what is kind of like the status quo, what it has continued at. But if those subsidies go away, it's going to become a major issue immediately, starting in January, because people, if they're talking about doubling premiums, there are people who can't afford to pay even the first one of those. So it's not like, we can wait until you get this straight. People are going to be uninsured immediately. So that would be a major problem, I think. The libs will literally talk about how Trump has never done anything good, but talk about how everything was cheaper in 2018. Some of that's politics. I'm not totally disagreeing with you there, Deshaun Watson. Some of that's politics, though, because look, let's be clear. Even though the liberals, a lot of liberals will suggest that Trump has never done anything good, the right was saying the same thing about Biden and Obama. Both of them they were saying the same thing, that Obama never did anything good for America, and Biden the same way. I mean, you don't normally give your adversary credit. I mean, Trump even was asked by Jesse Waters of Fox News himself. He was asked the question, did Obama do anything good for America? And Trump said, not one good thing. Bin Laden just completely skipped over that, huh? I mean, so look, that's politics. That ain't something that just is being aimed at Trump. Trump is doing that to other people too. Little Capitol Hill, thank you for the support. Let me go back to the box, tap the screen, get us on up to 140. We're close to the TikTok crown goal. Help your boy out there. We're pretty damn close. By the way, folks, if you favor this type of a program where we believe in all folks being able to speak, regardless of your political affiliation, we remain MAGA friendly, always have been MAGA friendly, always will be MAGA friendly. Liberals are welcome as well. If you enjoy this type of dialogue, we're here most weekdays. Follow the program. Bama Land, thank you. Bama Landscape. If you favor this this type of program, feel free to follow the program if you're currently watching us on Rumble, TikTok, or Instagram. And if you're currently watching us live on YouTube, give your boy a sub and smash that like button if you're watching on YouTube. Give your boy a like as well. Helps out the algorithm. Real quick in the comments. I don't know why somebody came up here. What health plan did any Republican administration come up with? None that I'm aware of. None. And that's the problem. That's what we started out by talking, is that Trump came down the golden escalator in 2015, over 10 years ago at this point, talking about repealing and replacing Obamacare. Came really close before the late Senator John McCain gave him the thumbs down and stopped him from repealing it then, but he came close then. And right now, as we speak, this is the closest he's ever been to repealing Obamacare. And the question is, after 10 years of talking about this, why don't you have something ready to replace it with? A large portion of that time since you came down the golden escalator, you've been president. There's no excuse for this. You served a whole term. You don't have anything ready to, you should be able to repeal this shit and produce what you got to replace it with immediately. You've been president for a 2-term president. You've done most of 2 terms now. You've got 5 years under your belt. You only got 3 years left of an 8-year, 2-term presidency. You don't have anything that they're going to, that if you actually can repeal Obamacare, you have nothing to put there. That's inexcusable. That's inexcusable. Always be liar friendly, Tim. I love a good laugh, and reading their comments and looking at their pictures always gives me a good laugh. First term, he didn't have the support of the Senate or Congress. Okay, just because you don't have the support don't mean you don't have the plan. Obama wants to give everybody universal health care. He didn't have the support of the Senate or Congress to give everybody the health care he wants to give you, which is why you got the Obamacare he ended up giving you. But he has the plan. Okay, so you don't have the support, but you still should know what you want to fucking do, because Trump now has the support. He would have, if he had a real plan in his first term, now that he has the Congress that is pretty much letting him do whatever the hell he wants, he could have immediately implemented in his second term. But because he has nothing ready, there's nothing to put in there. Let me go back to the box. They should take all the tariff money and give everybody free health care. I don't think they want to give free health care. I think that's more of the issue there. But we'll go back to the box. Gangsta Grandma. Good evening, Gangsta.
Oh, black ass.
That's a nice hello.
Stand your ugly fucking black ass. Here we go. Can you at least get chocolate coochie in your mouth or something? Can you at least do that instead of having the uncooked protein up dripping out your fucking mouth? Can we do that one night? Can you?
What am I saying that's wrong? It's the State of the Union. Are you watching this?
You always been wrong. You always be caping for the border. The border's still the same. Then you always say, oh, the gas prices, they're like 30 cents. They're over 30 cents. Let me break this shit down to you, with you uneducated morons. Our gas is collapsing, okay? 2 refineries in California are going to close.
Did you know Gangsta Grandma? Big App in the comments said, I thought Gangsta Grandma self-deported.
Well, I can't. You're still my fucking homie.
Thank you.
I can't stand your ugly ass, but you're still my fucking homie.
All right, we let you in. Our borders are always open to you. You're always welcome at the border, Gangsta Grandma.
Hey, why don't you get some chocolate, though?
What?
Because that uncooked protein is not suiting you. It's making you look old.
What are you talking about?
Because you be caping. You be on your knees for the white man, and he ain't doing shit. Let me tell you something. The gas, yeah, it's 54, 55 gallons for a barrel. We are going under, okay? People are going to lose their jobs. Over 30,000 people are going to lose their jobs in oil. That's not good.
I'm going to tell you.
Fuck you and about the cheap ass gas. People are going to lose everything.
Ever since Trump came into power, the liberals have been saying this is going to happen and that's going to happen. It ain't happening.
It's happening right now. The gas is collapsing. $58 a barrel? That's not good. And then 2 refineries are closing in Cali. You can look the shit up.
I'm just saying, you guys are always saying that this guy is going
to shut up. Get the white cock out your fucking mouth.
What does this got to do with white cock? What does this got to do with white?
Oh, go get it. Go give me the whip. Yes, master. You old ass house ninja.
What does this got to do with white cock and racism? What are you?
It is because you're on your knees, fool. If I get on my damn knees, I know it's gonna be chocolate. At least I know that shit. I gotta do it. I gotta be a simp. I gotta do it for the white man. Yes, hallelujah.
Okay, this has
get the fuck out of here.
You sound like Medea. This has nothing to do with doing things for the white.
I am Medea. You want to go to the right? You want to go to the left? I want to whoop your ass. Give me that. I am Medea. I'm not that big, but shit, I am fucking Medea. Yes, I am. I can't stand your ugly ass if I still have to come on your fucking show.
And I see Will in the comments says, damn, Tim, I agree with her shaking my damn head. I don't know why you agree with her. Because she's talking shit.
Because I'm fucking right. There's gonna be people losing their fucking homes and stuff behind this motherfucking rampage, damn rabid ass fucking dog we got in fucking office. The damn oil is collapsing. Oh my god, we got a cheap oil. While everybody else, people's gonna be losing their homes and stuff behind it because people's gonna lose their damn jobs. Rigs are gonna be fucking closing. And they're over here saying that Biden was bad. Fuck you, you sorry ass, no good for nothing ass. Ugh.
Well, I'm going to tell you, people are saying Biden was bad because you had all kinds of damn people coming in the country. We didn't know who they were.
Oh, shut the fuck up about that, man. Why can't we ship the white people out?
What?
They're the fucking ones colonizers. Get the fucking white people fucking out.
We would never.
Hallelujah.
We wouldn't.
Maybe unaliving the pew peerings. Maybe they'll go fucking down. How about that? Let's keep it a buck, okay? Get the white tea people the fuck out of here, especially the fucking white tea men. Maybe we can save our fucking kids. How about fucking that? The fucking damn, what is it called? Cornstarch monkeys? Get them the fucking out. How don't we do that?
Some would suggest we would not have this great yet civilized country if it wasn't for the white tea people.
That's not, no, they're colonized. They gave black folks syphilis. They unalived fucking a lot of natives. They fucking unalived a lot of Mexicans in the early 20s. Oh, yeah, in Texas. Oh, yeah, they massacred the Mexicans. Get the fuck out of here. That's all they want to do is kill, kill, kill.
What would this country be like with no white people in it? What are you saying?
Oh, my God. Happy, hallelujah, margaritas.
It wasn't.
Everything else. We have bonfires and everything else. We don't have to worry about kids going to school without being pew-pewed. Hello. At least we know how to cook.
What the hell does that mean? What, we
have bonfires, Mexicans and our black folks will be all get together, said hallelujah, and then when that motherfucker dies, it's gonna be a dance.
How about Mulch Man suggesting that without white people in this country, we would be back to grass fucking huts?
Oh yeah. Oh, I would have a grass fucking hunt than a white man. Any fucking damn day. Any fucking damn day.
Why do you dislike white people so much?
I dislike the white tea maggots. Those are the white people I can't stand. Why can't we ship them? Go by? They're the ones that are unaliving our asses. They're the ones that pew-pewing up our damn schools. You know what? Every fucking mass shooting, what it is, Tim? Get up your knees. Get that cock out your mouth. What is it, Tim? Who is it, Tim?
Okay.
Huh?
Okay. Well, before I answer that, do you not realize, do you not agree that the overwhelming majority of people that are killing blacks are other blacks?
Oh, shut the fuck up. I know your black ass did not go there and say that.
Is it not true?
It's not black on black. If you're in the fucking black hood, you're going to be a victim of a black. Okay? If you're in the white hood.
Oh, my God. They took my guest out. Gangster Grandma, you're going to have to appeal it. Anyway, we'll move the program on. Unfortunately, TikTok did not favor what my last guest had to say, and they took her out. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone, so we're not about censorship, but I can't control the apps. And Gangster Grandma I guess she didn't pass the muster. Looking at the comments, that guy sounds like Nipsey Russell from Old Match. I don't know what you mean by that. I think this poor lady missed her medication. Damn. You're going to lose some viewers, says Craig. Craig, unfortunately, we lose viewers every fucking show. If we defend Trump, we lose liberals. If we defend liberals, we lose MAGA. This is a free speech show. This is a free speech show. When we say we don't block, ban, or censor anyone, when we say we go left of Bernie Sanders, Trump having dinner with Q, we mean that. There's a whole lot of viewers that may be tuned in, and I appreciate all of you folks that are here. Anybody can come up, but we have a whole lot of viewers that favor watching social media that delivers an opinion that is favorable to what they have. If you lean right, you want to watch right-wing media. If you lean left, you want to watch left. We don't do that here. You're going to hear stuff from both sides of the aisle. When we say uncensored, when we say free speech, we mean it. So if you prefer media of your own liking, even though I appreciate everybody tuned in, I can't listen. I gotta suggest you go somewhere else. That's not how we do it here. You're going to hear things that are favorable to Trump, things that are critical of Trump, things that are favorable to liberals, things that are critical of liberals. This is not Fox or MS Now. This is a network. This is a program where everybody gets to speak. So let me know if you like free speech or if you like your speech. Anyway, looking in the comments here, what happened to the BLM? Nothing. The movement is still there. Virtually. You want to know what happened to BLM? Let a police officer get caught doing something that is really heinous or controversial without any justice. You'll see BLM pop right back up. BLM is still there. It's just there hasn't been anything. A lot of departments are starting to slowly but surely hold their officers a little bit more accountable. You can't get away with what you used to get away with. So that's kind of why the Trump administration has put masks on a lot of their law enforcement. That way you can't really hold them accountable because you don't know who they are. But yeah, if BLM is still there, if something happens, BLM will come back. I'm Canadian, so I like making fun of both sides because you are all fucking stupid. Shout out to you, Kevin. Nice country you got, by the way. Mr. Handsome, I don't always agree with you, but I love your show. Thank you there, Jim Beam. Appreciate that. Gangsta Grandma mad. Black people doing black people stuff, Tim. I'll leave that. I don't know what black people stuff is, but I'll leave that the way it is. Continuing on. Canada, we're on our way 51st state. Never going to happen. Canada's never going to want to be the 51st state to America. And you're only pissing off Canadians by continuing to say that. Why not make Puerto Rico the 51st goddamn state? That's a place where you actually have control over. We want to make Canada the 51st state, but we're telling the Puerto Ricans fuck off. You realize how bad that looks? That's why some folks be yelling racism and shit like that. You got these territories that are under U.S. control, and you won't do so much as give them representation for the country for which they got to serve anyway. But you're going to take a country which is, let's be honest, full of white people, and you're happy to make them a 51st. That looks bad. I'm going to tell you that. You don't want to make Guam because they got brown people or some of these other, countries that we're in control of. U.S. Samoa, U.S. Virgin Islands, countries that we actually have control of. You're going to skip over all of those, but you're going to tell Canada, you're welcome to be part of our union if you want. You realize how bad that looks? I'm just saying, you just understand how bad that looks. All of them brown countries that are U.S. territories that have no choice, they got to do whatever America says, even though they have no representation in government. None of them can be the 51st state, but we'll happily welcome Canada. That's kind of what Trump has said. Why can't we have more white people come over here instead of brown people? If you don't see that, if you don't see how bad that looks, I'm just telling you. Anyway, looking in the comments, Tim, you got a great show, and I appreciate it. But wouldn't it be nice to have somebody with a little bit of sense that ain't so high-strung? Well, Charles, I would gladly welcome you here. By the way, folks, we're currently also on Rumble. I know a lot of MAGA tune into Rumble, so we're currently live. Handsome Liberal on Rumble. If you got Rumble, feel free to come on over there and follow the program there as well. Now, bro, check that. Puerto Rico voted against being a state. That's facts, and they are represented in the government. They're not properly represented. Do they have a senator? I mean, I don't believe Puerto Rico is not properly represented. I'm just going to say it like that. Canada can't be. It's to be complicated. We don't even have free trade between province. Ontario has its own healthcare. Whatever the case may be, Kevin, I don't know a lot about Canadian politics. I appreciate your input, but I'm just simply saying all of those territories we got control of. I mentioned Guam, U.S. Samoa, U.S. Virgin Islands. I mentioned Puerto Rico. I think there's 7 of them. Seven territories. I can't think of the others, but I'm just simply saying, if you're going to suggest making something a state, why not make something a state that we're already in control of? Why would you go to Canada and skip over places that are kind of under our control, under our will, and skip over them but give it to Canada? That just seems wrong to me. It's just a lot of Trump's bullshit. What about Greenland? It's all the Greenland thing is kind of crazy too. Let me go back to the box. We lost Gangster Grandma, unfortunately, but we'll continue on with Jeremy. Good evening, Jeremy. Welcome to the program. That person who gave that comment about Puerto Rico being a cesspool must not know anything about Puerto Rico. It's a great, beautiful. There's crime on. There's a significant amount of crime in Puerto Rico. I've been in Puerto Rico a few times, but it doesn't matter if it's a cesspool or not. If they got to use a U.S. dollar and they got to bend to the will of America, I mean, if we want to put the military on their island, they don't have no say so. So they should, if you're going to make a state, that's where it should be. Not to mention, maybe, look, if you want to make cities and stuff like that better by sending the National Guard, go fix up Puerto Rico and make them a 51st state. You had no problem sending in the National Guard to Chicago and Portland and L.A. Send them in San Juan. Let me go back to the box. I don't know what happened with MAGA Reacts or Jeremy. It dropped, so we'll continue on with MAGA Reacts. Greenland has a lot of precious minerals. That is true, and it is a grift or a cash grab. MAGA, good evening.
Hey, what's going on?
Not much at all. Are you watching the State of the Union tonight?
Yeah, but I was expecting you to have what's it called, Zoom on your on the TV behind you.
Not yet, but I'm going to take your advice and do that. Right now, we just have. I don't do a lot when I'm off. I got a day job. I have to, I work a lot of hours on my damn day job. It ain't enough gifters here, so I got to go out and earn a living like everybody else. So
forget most of the stuff I told you to do. Just run Zoom on that computer behind you and talk to people from YouTube and other places. Just the Zoom part. Put it on the TV behind you so we could see the caller and you could talk to anyone from anywhere.
Fair enough. Somebody said Streamlabs. I'm not familiar with Streamlabs. Also, too, by the way,
that's the program I was showing you.
Oh, and by the way, also, too, folks, we are currently on Rumble, so we are taking callers on Rumble right now. The Handsome Liberal on Rumble. So, what are you expecting from the State of the Union?
I don't know. I woke up kind of mad at Trump today because of Venezuela and the Rob Reiner thing. But after listening to all your deranged callers that are telling me Joe Biden was a harder worker, and even though we see Trump working his ass off, that, he's actually having executive time all the time when he's having 3-hour meetings on TV where Congress and people on the left were like, we haven't seen Biden in forever, blah, blah, blah. And, they bring up Biden all the time, but when we mention him, it's like, you're pivoting to Biden and Obama, Let me ask you one question, Tim.
Sure.
If Biden wasn't president and Obama wasn't president, would they have the money they have today?
No, and I don't think anybody would have the money they have today that's been president. I think the presidency's made everybody richer.
What about Trump?
Shit, something. If you took Trump and Trump was there's no denying that Trump, Bush, Romney, they were all wealthy before Romney didn't become president, but he was wealthy. If you took Trump's wealth and put it on a graph showing how it's climbed over the years, I'm talking about over his entire 79 years of life, you would be able to tell when he became president, certainly in this second term. I personally believe, and I'm just speculating this, I could be wrong, but I personally believe that President Trump has made more money in 2025 than all 78 years prior. I believe he's made more money this year than he's the first 4 years in White House and all of that time in New York as a businessman. I believe he's made more money this year than all of that combined.
I agree with you, but I don't agree with you. I don't think he made more than the rest of his life, but he did make a lot of money this year. But guess what? Since he became when he became president in 2016 until 2025, all he did was lose money between all the court cases, between all the people boycotting his businesses and hotels, between just having half the fucking country and the media against you. I think he lost money until 25, where he decided, not to lose any more money.
Well, the thing about it is, in 2025, unlike the first time when he kind of promised that he would let his sons run his business, and this time all bets are off. He came in office and said, fuck that, I'm going to be president and a businessman simultaneously, and I'm going to use the presidency to further my businesses. So he's making money hand over fist. He's selling all kinds of stuff. He's involved in all kinds of stuff. I mean, certainly with the tariffs, where you can literally control all of that shit, people insider trading is rampant, where tomorrow I'm going to impose this on soybean, or I'm going to do this. Money is being made. Insane amounts of money is being made. I'm pretty sure his income. Huh?
That's the other part that bothers me. How's it insider training when Trump's telling everyone what he's going to do? It's just not a secret. It's insider trading.
It's still insider trading. It's still insider.
No, it's like it's a secret, and only you know that it's happening.
That's like saying if they tell you, let's say you're serving the military, and they tell you something confidential you're not supposed to tell anybody. If you tell the whole country at the same time, that's like saying, well, I'm not breaking the law because I'm telling everybody. It's still insider trading. Just because you're telling more people.
Trump himself is telling the country. So if they go to you and be like, hey, keep this secret, and then on the same time they announce it to everybody, how's it,
because
you're going it already.
If you know you're going to impose some tariffs tomorrow, and you go on social media and say today is a good time to buy, and people that is insider trading. I mean, you're letting people know I'm about to do something. You just
told the whole world, though. How's it insider trading if you told the whole world? Who's the insider? Everybody on fucking online is an insider?
I don't believe there's a certain number where it no longer is insider. If I tell a room with 300 people in it versus telling everybody, well, there is no certain number. You're telling people what you're going to do before you do it, and they're cashing in on it. Anybody who cashes in on that, that's insider trading. You got to tip
insider.
Huh?
Insider, by definition, means inside, like the circle, inside the business.
And by the way, we're only going with what
outside more than inside.
Yeah, and by the way, we're only going with what we've heard. I'm pretty sure that a lot more has been said behind the scenes. Marjorie Taylor Greene making $25 million. That's probably due to that. I'm not gonna rule out Nancy Pelosi doing a lot of shit during her time. But what Marjorie Taylor Greene, $25 million? Come on now.
But like I said, he announced it. The whole world knew these tariffs were coming. They knew they're coming in a month. I mean, I don't know how else is he supposed to. And then even with what's her name, Pelosi. I mean, everybody knew COVID was coming. Unless she did it before we heard of COVID, we all knew at the same time she did what COVID.
I'm not talking about COVID. I'm saying Nancy Pelosi made a ton of money while being Speaker of the House. She's made a lot of money.
But I'm specifically talking about the COVID money. Oh. Like when they say like these people made money off COVID because they knew the shutdown was coming. I mean, we all saw it coming. It's not like
I think that you're gonna end up hearing a lot more on Trump. Certainly, like for instance, he had a $500,000 a plate meeting at Mar-a-Lago or something like that. He had people ain't paying that kind of money to just sit there and hang out with you. You telling them some shit. I mean, just like the Qatar jet, that's some corrupt stuff. Well, all of a sudden you take this jet and all of us, you claim that people just giving you free money for no reason at all. The ballroom, people just gave you money for that.
To the country.
But only you are benefiting from it. You're not getting in that jet. You're not going to that ballroom. They're giving it to him. You're not benefiting from none of that stuff.
They're giving it to the country. I don't know how they're giving it to him. He's going to get to use it for a couple of years, maybe.
They're giving it to the country, and he is rewarding them by then giving their country something. All of a sudden, the Qatar jet
They're also rewarding us by keeping gas prices cheap. I mean, you guys act dumb like you don't know why gas is so cheap. It's because he's friends with Qatar and Saudis and pretty much every oil-producing country in the Middle East. If he's friends with all of them and they're bribing him with airplanes, you don't think they're going to bribe him by keeping oil production high like he wants?
I'm just going to say he's not being transparent with that stuff. He made it sound like the Qatar jet was just a gift. All of a sudden, now they're being trained to fly F-15s in Idaho. That was never mentioned. All of a sudden, you just decided to be real nice to them right after they gave you a jet. It's pretty clear what's going on. We're not being told the truth.
Tim, they've been allies for years. We sold
Qatar?
them I don't know about Qatar, but the Saudis and stuff. I'm sure Qatar too. I just don't know specifically to tell you like.
I haven't seen.
But we sell them F-32s, so we're gonna sell them the jets. But you're mad that they're getting trained on the thing we sold them years ago.
We're kicking out the Afghans who helped us out in the Afghan war, but we're letting these folks from Qatar fly in Idaho. Huh? How does that work?
I don't think he's actually kicked out anyone. I think he said he's not letting any more in, but I don't think he's kicked out anyone yet.
Okay.
But even with the Afghans, you got the Taliban running their country. They could be holding their family hostage. It could be anything,
I don't know what the Taliban could do to you. I don't know what the Taliban. I don't know what the Taliban could do to you that's any worse than what the Saudis did to Khashoggi, and we're okay with that.
They didn't kill Khashoggi's entire family.
So they didn't kill the whole family. They just hacked him up, chopped the man literally to pieces, and took him out in bags. But because they didn't kill his family, it's okay.
I'm not saying it's okay, but like if you had my whole family and you threatened to kill them, you could get me to do some shit. So I'd rather this country be safe than sorry.
I'm just going to tell you.
If they held your family hostage, you wouldn't do whatever they said. Like, am I like crazy for saying this?
I think you're crazy for suggesting that the Saudis are okay after doing something like that and not holding them accountable.
Okay or not, I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is, he's friends with them, and that's why oil prices are low. That's the only thing I'm saying right now.
I'm not for certain that his friendship with the Saudis is the reason oil prices are low. People are speculating. I don't know. People claim everything from the winter blend on down. I don't know. I'm giving him credit for the price of oil coming down under his watch. But I'm not sure anybody knows exactly why that's happening.
Well, he's friends with the Saudis. He's friends with Qatar. I mean, is that part? Can we at least agree on that he's friends with these countries?
Yeah. He's friends with a lot of bad guys. I'm going to tell you, he's friends with Hungary, which has a dictatorship. He's friends with Argentina now all of a sudden. I mean, he's friends with a lot of bad guys. He's friends with former dictators that tried to stage coups, like in Brazil and in Honduras. He likes bad guys. I mean, he tried to hang out with Kim Jong-un. He flew Putin over and put Putin in a limo. I mean, whatever happened to just bringing over somebody who runs Brazil or runs the UK?
By that standard, how are we ever going to get any oil then if they're all bad guys and we shouldn't buy oil from them? How are we going to get our oil?
Same way we've always been getting it. We ain't been hanging around with bad guys like that until he came along.
We've been buying oil from the Saudis since like the 60s.
We ain't been bringing him in our country and doing all the shit he's doing. Bringing him in the White House and stuff.
Yes, we have. It just hasn't been on TV and nitpicked like it is today. Either way, all that doesn't matter. I'm not trying to argue any of that stuff. My only argument is he's friends with them. That's why they kept oil production high, and that's why oil prices have been good.
And I will tell you that what Trump is doing is not being nitpicked. He likes to put stuff on TV and brag about it. That's what, like the Venezuelan boats, I've brought that up before. You didn't have to show us those people getting killed. I mean, you kind of created that whole controversy. You didn't have to show us you killing people. You could have just said you're stopping drugs from coming in the country. There would have been rumors about it, but you could have plausible deniability to deny the rumors. You didn't have to show us people being murdered. I mean, he decided to do that.
Yeah, but let me put it like this. I thought there were fishing boats until I saw those videos. The second I saw those videos, I was like, those aren't fucking fishing boats. And you could clearly see the drugs right there in the hull.
You would have thought they were military boats.
I was on here saying, I don't agree with him blowing up fishing boats. And then the second I saw that video, I was like, wait, these aren't fucking fishing boats.
You would not have had to be concerned whether they were fishing boats or not. If he had worded it right, you could have thought they were full-size military boats. You didn't need to see them being blown up. He didn't have to show that. He chose to do that.
Your answer is Trump should lie some more. I don't want Trump to lie. I mean, I'm okay with him exaggerating, but straight up trying to deceive me, because that's the intent. Like, his lies are not always intent to deceive. They're intent to like promote or intend to exaggerate and get you excited and get you thinking the economy is good, so you go out and invest in the economy instead of saving your money.
That's fucked up. That's fucked up. If you're going to try to spur people to invest and get the economy going based on something that's not true, you realize you could cause them to lose all their fucking money by telling them the economy's doing better than it is?
It's like a hype man in hip hop. What if the hype man got on stage and was all like low energy and telling you like, oh, this guy's not a real gangster, he's just faking. The hype man's on there is like telling you how much of a gangster the rapper is.
So what the hell we do? What do we do? What do we do? We elected Lil Jon? I don't want a hype man. I want the president.
That's what you do as the owner of a business. You have to promote it. You have to say it's doing better than it is, and you fake it until you make it.
So that's what that's what Trump is doing. That's what Trump is doing, is faking until he make it.
Yes, because people are excited. People want to. Consumer confidence is a huge part of the economy, and if he starts being all negative, then consumer confidence, you might as well just give up on it.
You kind of sound like Will Ferrell. Do you know what it means? No, I don't, but it's provocative. Just making up some shit to get people hyped up.
You're telling me confidence doesn't help like a football player play better, doesn't help a guy picking up, or a girl picking up a girl, or picking up a guy do better just because they have a little more confidence?
I'm telling you,
I think just go up and be like, you're ugly, you have no chance, you should have no confidence in. But a little bit of confidence gets you far. And I think that's one of the reasons he exaggerates.
You know how many people, whether it's in road rage incidents or just simply walking up to somebody and calling them the N-word, you know how many people get killed because they're overconfident? I don't think you should actually give people confidence unless it's based on reality. I don't think you should make up lies to get people more confident, whether it's investing, as you're talking about, whether it's telling them COVID will be gone by April. I don't think you make up positive shit if it's based on nothing. I think that's a terrible thing to do.
I mean, you're correct. Overconfidence is bad, but no confidence is also bad.
How about confidence based on reality? How about just simple confidence based on reality?
I guess, but some of this shit he talks about is like predicting the future. Well, what makes what he says any more or less real than what you're saying? You're both trying to predict the future. You're both,
No, I don't think making up lies that is not based on anything factual that ain't protecting the future. That's just fucking lying.
I'm not exaggerating, not making up lies. Like just saying, we're doing,
So what do you do? You go around and just to inspire confidence, you tell a girl you're working with 10 inches because you wanted to inspire her confidence? That what you do? And then she gets to find out it's 5, and all of us, I wanted to make sure you were ready. I don't get it.
If you say 10 and it's 5, we've had this conversation before. If you say it's 10 and it's 5, that's straight up lying. If you say it's 10 and it's 9 or 8, you're okay. You're just inspiring confidence. There's a big difference between 5 and an 8 or 9, Tim.
MAGA, anytime you say something and while you're saying it is not true, call it an exaggeration all you want. But if you say something and you know what you're saying is not true, it's lying. It's not just exaggerating, it's lying. You know your exaggeration is not accurate. That's a lie.
This is why I keep arguing with you. I don't do like these guys and pretend you're fluffing. You're not fluffing. You're just, you're taking the side of MAGA because you're arguing against liberals. If when you talk to me, you take their side, even though you probably don't agree with some of what they say. Anyway, what the fuck was I going to say?
Something you were going to exaggerate something. You were going to exaggerate something.
Everything is black and white. It's not black and white. There's multiple colors, and
there is no multiple colors. When you say that everything's not black and white, there's multiple colors. That's like when Bill Clinton said it depends on what the definition of is, or Trump's what was her name, Kellyanne Conway, talking about alternative facts. There is no gray area to a lie. Either what you said is true or it's not. If you know what you're saying is not true while you're saying it, there's no gray area to that. You are telling a lie. Period. That's it. You know this is not true while you're saying it. That's a lie.
Tim, I think alternative facts are bullshit, but what she should have said is there's alternative perspectives. Because from one angle something could be true, but from another angle you can see it as completely false, and vice versa. It's about perspective, not about alternative facts.
I'll give you an
Some
example.
people have a different perspective than you do.
I'll give you an example. You're blowing up Venezuelan drug boats while at the same time pardoning drug kingpins and then telling us this is about drugs. It's not. And then you're seizing oil vessels and all this stuff. It's not about drugs. That's what I'm talking about when it's a clear lie and people can see it. It's not about drugs. You wouldn't pardon drug kingpins in the middle of a drug war. It's not about drugs. You're just telling us what you think people want to hear. And that's not exaggerating. That's lying.
And this is where I say it's not black or white. It could be about drugs, but it could also be about oil. It could be about politics. It could be about people of Venezuela. It could be about more than one thing. Why can't it be about both? About drugs and about something else?
Well, it could be about oil. I'm not disagreeing with you that. It could be about politics. I'm not disagreeing with that. But the minute you pardon a drug kingpin, it's not about drugs anymore. That part you're lying about. You wouldn't pardon a kingpin if your goal was to prevent the sale and spread of dangerous drugs. Once you do that, you're out of that.
Again, I don't know. Like I said to you last time, I don't know all the facts about that case. I know the other guy, Gen X, said some shit about his brother. I don't know. I haven't looked into that.
You know what's funny though is that the guy who's on TV 10 times more than Biden has no problem giving 3-hour press conferences and telling people all kinds of shit. When it comes down to stuff we really need to know, like why did you pardon the drug kingpin or why is Ghislaine Maxwell sitting in minimum security? We have no fucking clue. Why is that? You talk all the time, but when you do the most controversial shit, we're left in the dark. Why is that?
I have no idea. I wish I had all the answers, but I don't think you could just tell people everything, especially when you're the president.
How about telling us the shit we actually want to know? You're telling us little crazy stuff like how much Biden was responsible for every damn thing every fucking day. Ghislaine Maxwell's been in minimum security for months now. Can you at least let us know why you did that? How long do we gotta wait?
You started this by telling me how he should tell us less about he should have just blown up the boats and never told us about it.
Yeah, but when you're doing because if he didn't tell us that, we wouldn't be pressing these questions. But if you're going to brag, then understand people are going to ask you. You don't look. This is not Al Bundy where you scored 4 touchdowns in a single game. If you're going to brag about doing it, then we're going to ask, why the hell does your high school picture look like you were 600 pounds? You said you scored 4 touchdowns. You're the one that decided to tell us about the touchdowns. You didn't have to say that. So once you start bragging, you open up the door for people to start questioning what you're saying. And he likes to brag.
It's not just bragging. Once you bring any subject up, sometimes it's better not to bring it up. But it's not just about bragging.
I don't think you need to show people getting killed. I don't think there was any need whatsoever to show people being killed at sea. You didn't have to do that.
No, but if he kept his mouth shut, which we all wanted from day one, I really preferred him to talk 50% less. He wouldn't have as many issues because half of what you guys say is always he said this and he said that. Venezuela is the one example where he actually did something with this blockade where I'm that. I was very upset about this blockade. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? This isn't,
What he is doing, and that's why I say it ain't about drugs. What he is doing is attempting to make life as miserable as possible for Venezuela until they get rid of Maduro. It ain't nothing to do with drugs. I'm just going to make life for your country as miserable as possible until you guys get rid of this guy. That's what he's doing. It got shit to do with fentanyl, none of that. If Maduro steps down, his pursuit against fentanyl is going to disappear immediately because that ain't what it's about.
I think it's both because I know Trump, he really hates drugs ever since his brother died from drugs and alcohol. And he also blew up fucking boats in the Pacific that had nothing to do with Venezuela.
Well, if he was really about drugs, he would be going after a lot more countries than just Venezuela because that ain't where most of the shit's coming from. If you really were concerned with drugs, there would be a host of other countries you'd be fucking with. He's only going after Venezuela.
I also think these boats were very easy picking. They weren't hiding. They were obvious drug boats just sitting there. I would have blown them up.
I'm just simply saying, I bet you there's more drugs coming in this country across land borders than there ever will be on those boats. A lot of these trucks that move products between America and Mexico, they got shit all in the tires and stuff like that. Agents are paid to look the other way. Far more drugs are coming in that way than on the open seas. Nobody's going to have trouble getting high during Trump's term. I don't care how many fucking boats he blow up. There's going to be plenty of drugs in this country.
You just made my point. Those drugs are hidden well. These drugs weren't even hidden. They were out in the open.
So how does
you think if people were crossing the border out in the open like that with drugs, Trump wouldn't shoot them or arrest them or
but the problem is, how does it look when you're using $1 million missiles to take these boats out? Is it even cost effective at that point?
I mean, we play target practice with those missiles. That's a whole different argument. But as far as taking out these boats, they're out in the open, Tim. If they were doing the same with trucks, that they had fucking obviously drug hauling trucks where you could see the drugs on top of in the fucking bed of the truck. If you could see drugs in the bed of the truck and they're not even covered up or anything and it looks like they're fucking moving drugs, you think the Border Patrol is going to let them just pass?
I'm 100% behind getting rid of drug dealers and things like that. But I do believe that you can do it a lot more effective than using $1 million missile each time and then polluting the sea with all kinds of harmful narcotics. Not to mention, what if some of this stuff that is normally heavily packaged in barrels and shit shows up on somebody's shore and still kills a bunch of people when you actually had it on radar, actually had it in sight where you could have seized it. But you chose to blow this shit up, and now packages of this stuff is floating on shore somewhere and people are dying. Does that make sense? Did you really do the right thing?
Tim, that's a lot of what ifs that'll probably never happen.
Oh, I guarantee it's happening. I guarantee if you're blowing up a boat with a missile and they're claiming the boat is still intact enough to flip it over, then you can guarantee some of the product is surviving too.
Like, I just got one last comment. There's a huge difference between a little boat versus full of drugs and a huge oil tanker. Just like there's a huge difference between 300 or 400 million for a ballroom and 300 billion for fucking, which is going to take more than that for healthcare. And
I don't know how much it's going to take because of all of it.
Because Denko made it sound like if he could do one, why isn't he doing the other?
Well,
there's a huge difference between the two.
I think what you guys fail to realize, and I'll make this a last comment, but I think what you fail to realize is that if those subsidies go away and people are uninsured, you're still going to pay when they show up at the ER. So the guy who normally you were paying for his prescriptions for diabetic medicine or paying for his prescriptions for cholesterol medicine or high blood pressure medicine, you're not paying for that anymore. But when he shows up to the ER with a fucking stroke or he's in diabetic coma, now you're paying for that. And that's a hell of a lot more than those prescriptions would have been. So you're not saving any money.
We need to solve healthcare. We should probably extend the subsidies by like 6 months while we solve it.
You got to have the will.
There's a problem.
Why the hell hasn't he solved this? He came down the escalator talking about repeal and replace in 2015. Why doesn't he have it? Why are we still talking about solving something? Why doesn't he have anything to present right now? 10 years. Why isn't there a plan he can show you? Well, this is what I came up with and I had trouble doing my first term. But how about this? Why doesn't he have anything to produce?
No, I don't know. I mean, there's no one that has a plan that's been like, if someone had a plan, like Bernie saying free college and shit, we would have heard about it. But there's no one on the left.
Yeah, but there's nobody on the left talking about there's nobody on the left trying to repeal what we have. He wants to repeal it. He should be able to. He should have something to replace it with. That ain't something you put on the left. You put it on the guy that's trying to get rid of what's there. If you want to get rid of it, what do you got? He has nothing.
Look, what we need to do is reduce the cost. By increasing subsidies, that's not reducing the cost of healthcare, and it's the fucking price of healthcare is gonna keep going up. Because all the subsidies are doing is like you're trying to drain the water. Like say you're fucking in a pool that's getting filled with water and you're about to drown. All the subsidies is doing is removing the water instead of plugging the leak. Okay. You know what I mean?
But MAGA, you're not saying
solution.
MAGA, you're not saying anything different than the Republicans have been saying the whole 10 years that Trump's been since he came down the escalator. We get all that. So what do you got to replace it with?
The only exception is this technology today, like being able to do doctor visits over the phone and using AI and all that. That wasn't around 10 years ago. And I think that's the solution right there. Use the technology we have today to make healthcare cheaper.
But you do admit there's no damn excuse for why they have nothing on the drawing board so far.
I know. Again, yeah, there's no excuse. That's why I haven't come up with one.
All right, I'll leave it at that.
Safe technology will solve the problem.
All right, I got to go. Appreciate it. Moving on with the program, by the way, tap the screen. Yeah, listen, 10 years you've been talking about repeal and replace Obamacare. You've coming really, really close right now. In fact, we may be only a week or two away from him successfully repealing it. And you have nothing to replace it with. Not as he once stated, he had concepts of a plan. I'm not even hearing the fucking concepts. That looks horrible. That's like literally showing up on the first day of school when you were given a homework assignment over the summertime and you haven't even started it yet. Like you didn't do nothing this summer? Like nothing. That's what it looks like. Bargaining power is less when we split up. True. I don't disagree with that. The Affordable Care Act isn't perfect, but it's better than the plan the MAGAs have come out. And the problem is that the plan they come up with is very new. They had tons of time during Trump's first term to keep presenting plans and see what works and what's not. Listen, I'm going to tell you my humble opinion. The goal was never to repeal and replace Obamacare. The goal was to take Obama's name off of a big piece of legislation. That was really it. I just want to knock down this legislation that Obama got through because I don't want him, getting some kind of legacy out of something he passed. That was it. There was no intention of replacing with anything better. It was just taking Obama's name off of it. That's the way I look at it. Otherwise, he would have something to put up. But I don't like how Obama ran the country. I don't like the man. I want to remove his legacy and make it appear as if he's never been here. All right. And I want to get rid of his signature achievement. And I think that's what the plan was. And there was never a plan to replace it with anything. Because by now, you should absolutely have that. Anyhow, folks, State of the Union is about to start shortly, another hour. But anyway, I do appreciate you guys with 150,000. We don't block banner since you know how the program is ran. If you do follow the program, if you watch us on Instagram, TikTok, or Facebook, feel free to follow the program. If you're watching on YouTube, give us a sub. Luigi is a dumbass coming from someone who believes John Rambo was real. What the hell are you guys talking about? Look, Luigi was passionate. That's all. Look, Luigi put Luigi in the same category as the Jan 6 people or the Black Lives Matter rioters. Some people get so caught up in what they believe in, they just do something crazy. I mean, listen, healthcare in this country is terrible. You might get additional Luigis if they cancel people's premiums or double people's premiums. What does all this stuff have to do with making America great and the American people and the economy, healthcare? He's not a politician, Tim. Let me know. Damon, that's a mouthful. I'm not disagreeing. There are things in Obamacare that are worth keeping. True. Making insurance affordable is what is worth keeping. You're going to need the federal government to help people with insurance costs, unless you pass laws that heavily regulate what they can charge people. You got to do one or the other. Now, I know the Republicans are against government regulation and oversight. They believe in letting the free market. The free market is why you paying all of this for this shit. Free market is why you can go to one doctor and pay $10 for a Tylenol and pay $8 at another one. That's all free market. You've been letting them do what they want to do. Free market decided that you're going to pay all of that for one single pill. So you're going to have some kind of regulation. Otherwise, if you're not going to regulate what they can charge people, then you're going to have to give people some type of assistance financially so that they can pay that shit. One or the other. That's really it. Either you control the cost or you help people with it. I don't think there's any other outcome that you're going to be to get out of that. Envy, I see you got nothing. You are dismissed. Thanks for playing. God damn, you guys are rough on each other. Anyway, I appreciate the 151,000. I do got to step away because I am eager to watch the State of the Union, and certainly I may come back on here for a little bit and holler at you folks just to see what your take is on it. Unfortunately, I see a lot of left-wingers are not going to watch it. You should watch it. You should watch the State of the Union. You should listen to it. See, I mean, look, Trump is going to be Trump, but there may be a few good tidbits in it. It's your boy Tim, the handsome liberal. I got to go. Thank you guys for tuning in. And if you folks that are on Rumble as well, appreciate some of you folks tuned in there. We'll do it again next time. Y'all take care. Have a